Hello. If you were to happen to see this, I was going to do a book haul, and I was well, I get annoyed by doing book hauls. Anyways, I decided I was going to do this thing, and I'm doing it. So I'm just going to do it live because I was like, you know what? I don't even care. I don't even know how this thing works because Chris always does this. I don't know what's going on right now. So if you were making comments, there's a good chance I won't see it. Anyhow, hello. My name is Virgil. It says there in the bottom of the screen. I'm going to show you some books I got. Got them, let's see, week and a half ago on a weekend. I was off. I took a vacation day, went to the bookstore, and was like, hey, you know what? Just texted a bunch of people that are on a group chat. I'm like, what do you think about this book? So most of that's this. There's a couple of things I got from, like, one or two things I got from Chris, and also a couple of things that came in the mail from Amazon today. Books, indeed. How's it going, Jake? What's up? Let's see if I can do this. Look at that. I was like, I'm a pro. God, the skill. I know. Don't get too impressed. Oh, now I have to hide it. Look at this. Whew. So let's get started. We're just going to start right out of the gate with books. So I don't remember where I ordered this from, but I ordered it, and you know what? It came in the mail, and it showed up, and here it is. Hubie Cave. That is not a pseudonym. At least I don't think so. Legion of the Dead. And isn't that a cool cover? It is cool. The camera likes it so much it keeps trying to zoom in on it. A novel of love and voodoo. It says on the back, it sums it up real quick. Zombies. Is this mirrored, by the way? I don't know if this is backwards for you. It's backwards for me. So I'm looking at it and I can't read it. I mean, I can read it because I know how to read, but it says zombies. So I don't know if it's backwards or not. I don't know how to flip it. So let me know if this is backwards. I should probably fix that. Or unless you like reading backwards too, like me, it's always there. It's always an option. You know, I've read a long time ago. I read a speed reading book, which I highly don't recommend. Like the most emphatic unrecommend I can ever give is don't waste your time with speed reading books. And it was all about this guy. He read so fast. He used to read backwards, and he would do this other stuff. And it's like, what did you have? How did you get a book that was written backwards to read it backwards? Like would you start at the end of the book and read at the beginning? You think you are Merlin? No, you're not. This is a little chaotic. I'm just going right into this. I don't know. I don't even know how you could. There's 6 people out. There's 6 of you out there. That's what that little thing says. Thank you. Next book came from Chris. Harvest Home, Thomas Tryon. Look at him. Look at those guys. This is actually kind of cool. Oh, wait. I thought that was like an old, I thought it was like maybe George Washington in the background. No, it's Grandma. It's Grandma. Grandma cosplaying as George Washington again. Brian, what is up? How's it going? You're there. I knew it. Thank you for showing. I was just literally sitting here. I'm like, record this, and I'm like, I can do it live. You don't want to do it live? I don't know. So I just decided to do it because I didn't know. That's why. Moving on. At the same time I got Legion of the Dead, I also got this book, which I knew that Matheson wrote this, but I'd never really seen this cover, and it's an amazing cover. Stir of Echoes by Matheson. Isn't that a cool cover? I'm going to put it right in there. I don't know. It's got a little flaw there, but that's okay. It's all right. I ordered a couple other books with that are not for me, that are going out to other people, numerous other people. So that'll be exciting. But that I need to box them up and send them. Like I've been saving boxes for weeks now to mail out, and so to the point where my kids are like, "Dad, this is getting to be a problem." I'm like, "Okay, I gotta mail this stuff out." So anyway, stuff is coming to people who get things. Well, in that vein, in part of that process of like scanning these things and like taking pictures of them in the chat and like talking to people and everything else, I saw a couple and I was like, you know what? I'm picking these up. So these are actually going to Brian. First one, Ride of the Dragon. Look at that cover. Isn't that cool? It's hella cool. I don't know what's going on with the back. Because like I don't know if you probably can't see, but the print is kind of weirdly muddy on the back of the book. I don't know why. To those that get things, that's right. Stuff is coming to those that get things. Is that a threat or a promise? We don't know. It remains to be seen by all. But it is super hard to read this. I have my glasses I put on when I like to read things. It was, you know what? Nothing annoyed me more then when I discovered I had to have reading glasses because I went to the eye doctor and I'm like, I'm having a hard time like seeing things like when they're this close and like, oh yeah, your eyes are getting old. They don't flex the same way anymore. So you have to, I'm like, what? And then like, oh, you have perfect vision. You still have 20/20 vision. I'm like, okay. So then they're like, well, here's the prescription you need, or not prescription, the what thing to get. And I went and looked for this magnification that they said, and I couldn't find it. It wasn't available. And so I went home and I told my wife, I said, they didn't even have it at like Walmart or Walgreens or anything. And she's like, what's the magnification? I said, 1. And she just looked at me and she says, I hate you. They didn't have it. I had to special order them. Ordered a whole pack of them. I have no idea what those glasses are. They're in the house somewhere. So I ordered another pack. The next time I went, they said, well, you can just order 125s. Like, it's like, you're good enough. Like, okay. Books indeed. Tim, how's it going? Tim, that's right. Books. We're looking at books. I'm going to try and read the back of this book. I don't make any promises. I never do. The only promise I make is that words will come out of my being. Beneath the muddled surface of South American politics, there lies yet another layer where witchcraft and voodoo influence the deadly power struggle between the two races. Four lovers. Oh, we're getting intense already. Find themselves caught between the white establishment and the power of an Oxford-educated master of black arts and terrorism. Whoa! They soon learn that there's more to fear from his wrathful magic than from any number of revolutionary guns. Their confrontations lead them to re-examine their values, their concept for what is real, and ultimately to the realization that the black and white alike must be unwilling participants in the rite of the dragon. It is. I can't express how difficult it is to read the back of this book. It's like the print. I don't know. Maybe it's the font that they're using. I can't say. Hey, Chris, what is up? What's going on? Hello. And we've got another comment. This is a wave of comments. I've got barbecue Trixie's bread. This is a good night. You know what? Right on. Right on. I'm like barbecue chicken for your eyes, Tim. That's right. The barbecue chicken of your eyes. You can always think of me that way. Oh, in fact, it's not the first time I've heard that. Anyhow, so that book, and I was showing some other book. I showed another book, and Brian's like, oh, how much for in his words, leg. And so we got Green Eyes. And this, honestly, these were very cheap, by the way. Right. And this is more of a suspense book. Do I, damn, Chris, you have no barbecue chicken. Well, only the barbecue chicken of your eyes, Chris. Thank you. Andrea, how's it going? Hello. I don't know what I'm doing, but I sure ended. Show us your, whoa, show us. Wait a minute. This is, wait a minute. That's a private stream, sir. You brought the leg. I did buy the leg. I bought it for you, good sir. It's coming your way. This is not the only thing. Book of the New Sun. Show us your Book of the New Sun. That'll get you arrested right there. Folio. Oh, okay. What are you, Chris? You're like, listen, I'm trying to read this. You keep putting like single word sentence. You know what? Keep putting words on the screen, and I keep doing it. Here we go. You know what? I don't know if I want to read all this. There's too much back here. Basically, it's a book about legs. Green ice is a reference to emeralds. That's what's going on there. It's a book about legs. You too can have a leg, a leg of green ice. Very salacious picture. At first, I was like, I couldn't tell if this was a side view or not. At first, I was like, whoa, intense. I don't think there's any. Well, we don't know. Brian's going to read this and tell us that's what's going to happen. That is what's going to happen. That's right. I'll always give you a little leg, Brian. And that's not all. You got a bunch of you got some stuff coming, right? Yeah. So it's just a matter of like I got to get to the post office. That's like the biggest barrier for me to get there. It's like the easiest part, right? Honestly. It's like the hardest thing for me. It's like, oh, I gotta take these things up there. I think I should write things. Anyhow, so there's that. I don't know. Hopefully this thing scrolls. We'll find out how it goes. Now I've been meaning to pick these up, but I wanted the goofy covers and they had them there that day. And so I totally did. Gordon R. Dixon, Space Paw. Look at that. Now that's not even the best, just to be honest. That's good, but it's not the best. Just hold on a second, because the other one, right, is the coveted Space Paw book by Gordon R. Dixon, Spatial Delivery. Look at this. You want bears with human backpacks? You got it. You got it. This is part of the Barlow's Guide stuff, right? There's even a third. If you go and get like the ebook or something, it's got a bear and like this, like a Scottish, like, what do you call it? Like the golfing hat. It's not a beret. I don't know. There's probably a word for it, but yeah. Look at the bear with the people. I love it. It's so dumb. But it's so great. It's honestly, it was worth it for me just for this cover because I've seen this cover before and I'm like, I want that cover. I want it. Wait, what is we got here? All I finish too. It's nothing to do with the fact that we nothing to do with it. Of course, like he knows I'm the barbecue chicken for many eyes, not just human eyes. How is this more? I don't know how it is. It depends. Who is which cover? For this one, for the bear? That's a good question. The cover artist, oh man, it's got stamps all over inside of it. Came from Ohio. I always find this interesting. Came from Ohio. Right? So it made it all the way here to the old Missouri. Let's see. Steve Hickman. Steve Hickman. This is an Ace printing, January 1979. A different time. I wonder if Steve Hickman looks back on that painting and is like, that's the thing that he's most known for. And he's like, God damn those fucking backpack bears. Ruined my career with the bears in the backpack. Maybe he thinks that. Maybe he doesn't. Let's see. Chris sent me this book that because he knows that I'm doing the Avram thing with Bob from Wheel of Genre. And it's an Avram Davidson sci-fi story, Clash of the Star Kings. This is the only one I think in plastic. Clash of the Star Kings, and then on the backside it's John Rackham's Danger from Vega, which both of those covers are great. Don't know anything about this Avram story, but it looks really good. And so, don't drop it. So we'll see what happens. I can't tell you anything about it because all we know is it's got a crazy kind of like South American lizard man. Something. It seems like South American to me. Because he seems Aztec, and it says the night the stars fell and the spaceman rose. Spacemen. There's just one. There's men. There's many of them. Many of the men space. Yeah. So this is very cool. We got. Let's say. Yes, I do love that lizard man. He's the best, and I like how shocked he is. He's surprised. He's a little surprised to be like, for me, I'm on here. Look at us, matching shirts. By the way, yeah, planned? Probably not. Probably not. Okay, we keep going. This is just a random thing I came across. I'm like, Chris, you want these? He's like, yes. So we found the fourth book of the Long Sun series. This is the Night Side of the Long Sun. Actually, I never owned the paperbacks for these. I had book club editions, and then I don't remember what I actually bought for them. Well, they're over there. I'd have to get up. I'm not getting up. I'm not doing that. Not the first time. You got to save that. That's like pay-per-view. Anyhow, that's up. Okay, and we got people in the chat. I don't know, but it's looking good. Hello, anybody who's watching. Thank you. By the way, 10 people. I can't believe it. I literally just turned this on with about 1 minute's planning. Actually, some of this I did do. Tried to do like a camera down haul video before, and it didn't work out. What happened? The camera stopped working. The camera that was up here stopped working halfway through. Just did, right? So I had half the video, and then it's like there's just an abrupt change, and it's like, well, I don't even know about this video anymore. So I saved it, and I was like, maybe I'll upload this. Well, I didn't. Well, I did upload it. I upload it to YouTube so I can watch it later when I'm busy, if I'm out and about. I didn't even watch it. I'm like, I'm probably just going to delete it. And I did. Now, this one's still in the bag. Dang, I said it wasn't in the bag. So I'm going to open the bag. Hide your ears. Hide your ears. This is a H.G. Wells book. And actually, this looks really cool. It's an old book. This is people like to know the publisher. They like that stuff. Well, I don't know what it says. Ooh, camera down. It lands, not camera. Air mount. Well, anyways, I thought the cover was cool, and it was a Wells book, The Food of the Gods. And essentially, it's about this food that makes things grow a lot, and people can grow. They keep growing. Bugs grow too, and bugs grow big. This is a complete and unabridged edition, by the way. The Food of the Gods is a novel that stirs the imagination with a marvelous theme. What could happen if we simply did not stop growing? It's a good idea. What if you keep, that's like, I guess I could almost get into body horror, right? What if you kept growing? What if your teeth kept coming in? You'd be like a shark, teeth popping out. Took it to the wrong place. Anyhow, and then in the process of this, I saw this doll, and I was actually really interested in this. I think I've seen someone else talk about it. I don't know who it was, but it's Daw OG Yellow Spine 104 Peter Dixon, the Weathermonger, and it looks super cool. I think it's like a science fantasy type thing. It says from the 20th century to the dark ages overnight, that was such was fate that befell Britain 5 years from now. That's an interesting phrase. Machines were shunned, and witchcraft had become the order of the day. Superstition and all the narrowness of the medieval era was the way of the populace, and those who believed in science and mechanics fled the island to this strangely changed land to return to seek the source of the blight that had so altered the natural laws. Geoffrey, the condemned weathermonger of Weymouth, and his sister slip back, take over a still functioning Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost. Isn't that the car from Joe Hill's series? Anyways, and follow the lightning to a terrifying confrontation between myth and science. Here is a most unusual novel, suggestive at times of Tolkien. Oh, yep, you got to get that Tolkien reference in there, and of L'Esbrag de Camp, but always a gripping, fantastic adventure. So seems kind of cool. I don't know. It actually like genuinely sounded pretty cool. I think we'll just do what we got in order. So there's 2 more paperbacks. Let's see what we got here. Oh, I'll look at these comments. I can't look at them with those glasses on though. Great cover on which one. I don't know which one it was, but yes, you're right. And it had an amazing cover. And I completely agree with that comment. Oh, yes. Actually, War of the Worlds totally took me by surprise. I was completely surprised. I had this impression of what War of the Worlds was. Actually, I think that was one of the very last videos I watched by Bookpill. It seems crazy. Not that I have a problem with Bookpill. I just don't really watch his stuff very often. But he was talking about War of the Worlds and said it was talking about how almost shocking it was. And I read it, and it is shocking. It feels like something much more modern than it has any right to be. Genuinely chilling in parts. I thought it was amazing. So totally worth your time if you're thinking about it. Oh, somebody's talking about the Weathermonger. The Weathermonger book series is one of book 3, depending on the order you read them, of a terrific series. Oh, really? Interesting. That sounds awesome. Huh. It sounded really good. I saw someone talk about this exact same book, and I can, for the life of me, remember not who, but that's how it is. Thank you very much. I like War of the Worlds too, but is the Time Machine. I have not read the Time Machine. Actually, I think that's the only Wells I've read was War of the Worlds. Time Machine is one. I actually had a thing where I was going to maybe read it out loud to my kids, and that lasted for all of about half a chapter, and then, and they were like, "Okay, Dad, we got stuff to do." They were interested until I started to do it, and then they got less interested. So, oh yes. Oh, okay. Wait. Oh, that was. Oh, you know what? You must have changed your channel icon. Yes, I loved you did your doll video, right? I love that, and I also love your channel. We must have a lot in common because I saw some stuff in your gaming shelf that I have too. Like you had that Flash Gordon box set for is it Savage Worlds, I think? Yeah, got that too. Yeah, loves Flash Gordon. Anyway, segue, but cool. Thank you for being here. All right, very soon in intrigue. We already saw that comment. We're gonna keep going. Here we go. This is me learning, Scott. People were greeting each other. I'm greeting them. Hello. We're all in 11. Wow, this is crazy. I'm going to ignore the mentioning token campuses. You know what? It was like almost like so you got to the point. I remember in like the late 80s and the 90s where like if it was in the fantasy sci-fi section and it wasn't sci-fi, then Tolkien had to be mentioned. Hey, you had to mention Tolkien, Lord of the Rings, or The Hobbit. You had to. It was like, listen, we got to fit it in. Like, does your book have anybody who's short in it? Yes. How short? Okay, that's a Hobbit. Boom. Just like the Hobbits from Lord of the Rings. It was like that. It was like, it got to the point where I like that was one of the reasons I kind of steered away from fantasy after a while. We're greeting each other. Good stuff. All right. You got to go you got to feed the kids. Yeah. And they cannot subsist on the barbecue of the eyes alone. So thanks for stopping by, Jake. Appreciate it. Is it scary? Yes, it is super scary because you don't, especially thinking about how that when that book came out, you don't know what to expect. And I like too that that's such early science fiction that it doesn't sort of devolve into tropes in a sense. Like it's sort of like figuring its way out. So I absolutely love it for that. I love it felt so original, even though it was so like one of the first, right? There was a word there that I couldn't pull it out, so I just went to that word. Men for themselves, but kills character. Uh, oh, maybe. Well, I might have an outlaw. It could be an outlaw video. That's very, very likely. Oh, did you? Oh my God, that's amazing. That might be why you. You know what? I'm thinking that might be why you have it at your shelf. It's gorgeous, by the way. But just so you know, that's like I saw that. It was like I want this just as a thing I want in my life. I don't know if I could ever convince the children to play it with me. It didn't matter. I was like, I have to have this thing. It's absolutely gorgeous. It really is. And I love Flash Gordon. So it was like, this is like, it's just amazing, by the way. So you did an amazing job. Chris is asking the question that I just asked. It's great. That's what Chris is saying off. He said a yep, which is good. We're just moving down the comments. Ghost readers, what's going on? How you doing? And Chris is greeting. I don't know if I'm supposed to click on everyone. I'm doing it. Boom. Let's move on, or we'll keep moving. I'm going to show. Well, this one was a pretty cool one. So there's a couple books at. These were all. A lot of these are from Half Price. And this one was one that I saw and I'm like, oh, I really think I want it. I was a little worried because I had a mark on the cover, but actually I was able to take like a pencil eraser, a soft one, and kind of erase this like marker that it was on there. And it came off perfect. And it was this H.P. Lovecraft. I think somebody said it's from the Ballantine Adult Fantasy series, The Doom That Came to Sarnath, right? Yes. This has, I think it's got all of Lovecraft's dream cycle except for the Dream Quest of the Unknown Kadath, which is his like novel length or long novella story. That's that particular one. The Dream Quest is maybe my absolute favorite Lovecraft. I really, really, really want to reread that. I know that there was some talk about some people do a like a Cthulhu Christmas or something, and so maybe that'd be something I'd like to do. The Dream Quest is so good, and I love the dream cycle for Lovecraft. I think those are. I mean, I love a lot of Lovecraft stuff, but I love the dream cycle, and I like how stuff like Pickman's Model kind of gets worked into that. It's so good. I'll show the. I don't even know if it's going to come off in the thing. I don't know if this will come out or not, but we'll hold it up if somebody's interested. Maybe that'll focus in enough. I hope that's in the. I hope that's not. That wasn't very long. You'd have to pause, but anyhow. But I was really pretty excited. It was a little bit pricey. It wasn't too bad. I'm going to show this other one too. Now, Levi did his Show Us Your Dolls. Levi the Outlaw book, or Levi the Outlaw Levi Wallace. There we go. Too many outlaws in this booktube corner. Was showing it, doing his doll thing, and he showed this book, and it was one of the exact books that I'd seen, and he talked about it, and he sold it for me so hard that I left early for work and went by the bookstore and bought it there. And that's Carl Edgar Wagner's The Year's Best Horror Stories 15. And this looks, he was talking about it, and it looks amazing. It's got some big names in it too. Let's see. Some really big names. Robert Bloch, Joe R. Lansdale, Ramsey Campbell, William F. Wu. I don't know who that is. Charles Grant, Ron Lemming, Ron Wolfe, John Alfred Taylor, Dennis Etchinson, Wayne Allen Saley, Joel Lane, Tina Rath, one by W.H. Pugmire and Jessica Amanda Salmonson, David J. Schow, S-C-H-O-W, hope I say that right, Brad Strickland, Brian Lumley, Jack Dan, and R. Chetwynd Hayes. So he's talked about like 2 or 3 of these stories, and he hadn't read it in a while. And he said, oh, this and this and this, and I thought, damn it, why did I not get that book? So I went back and got it. So I'm very excited about that. Let's see if we can catch up. What happened? Ooh, glasses up. Okay. Okay. We're saying hello. Hello, Shinamik. I hope I say it right. Hello. By the way, hello everybody who's here. Thank you. I can't believe there's 19 people right now, which is very surprising to me. By the way, hello. This is very surprising. Do that book. You're probably talking about the Lovecraft one. Yes, that it was very cool. I have like the Dell, Dell, whatever the ones. Yeah, Del Rey. I have the Del Rey Dream Cycle, which is about the same thing, but something about that cover and about the pack. I was like, I gotta have this book, so totally went for it. Um, yes, it's about, and it'd be kind of cool to get the rest, but I don't know if I quite want to pay that. But oh, and you know what? I think the other thing is too. I think this one has. I want to say this. That's an important thing to mention. This has in the walls of Eric's in it. It has in the walls of Eric's in it, which I thought was interesting, and it also has in prison with the pharaohs, which is the pseudo like supposed to be Harry Houdini, but like Lovecraft is ghostwriting for him or something like that. I can't remember. We talked about that, but yes. Greetings to everyone. Hello. That's how you know. That's how you know. Saying hello to everyone. I have that domain of what you're holding. Yes, and this. I'm sorry. I'm doing the thing where I mumble read because I'm reading myself. I have a doorway of that, which you're holding up. That was the book. Yes, there's a Cthulhu Christmas. I hear a rumor that there's going to be a Hodgson holiday. Oh, I'm actually. That's interesting because I'm actually. Of course, I'm reading like 20 different things and trying to narrow it down. But I actually am reading Hodgson's The Ghost Pirates. So trying to read that. So I'm reading that, hoping to be finished and publishing it in October. But maybe I should hold off on it. I don't know when is the Hodgson holiday? Is that going to be November? That sounds like a November thing. Holidays. Who knows? I could see Hodgson seems like all that Weird Tale stuff. I was thinking of November as being like cozy, like curling up by the fire, even though I don't have a fireplace. And reading. So that might be very appropriate, actually. Yes, well, it is so goog. Indeed. Yeah, I have nothing to say. I make typos all the time, but from now on, it is so goog. Indeed. It's good and good. Goog. Hello, I am Goog. Grom. December. Okay. December. Well, we'll see. I guess I can record it and just set the date out or whatever. That's a possibility, right? That's a thing we can do as humans. Well, I'm going to do this now because these are things that just came today. I want to do this sort of because I like talking about my peeps. But a couple books came just today. One, Chris and I had talked about this, and I picked this up, a really nice copy of Jorge Luis Borges' Labyrinths. Nice hardback. And this was a pretty good price, honestly. Modern library printing. Looks beautiful. So I want to read this and talk about it. One of my was it 10 books I want to read before I die. One was sort of like Borges in general. Not really sure what book, and I think this is going to be the one that I really want to read. I want to get this read this year, at least read selections from it and talk about it. So that'll be cool. We talked about maybe chasing down the whole idea of mazes and stuff like that, because I bought a bunch of maze books. That's coming up. Read a Gene Wolfe story, The Solar Labyrinth. Talk about that, talk about mazes, talk about maze stories. So that'd be kind of cool. So thank you. And we're going in Ghost Pirates. Talking about Ghost Pirates. It's amazing. Yes, it looks good to me. I very much enjoy Hodgson. I've read something that isn't our Karnak. I have read The House on the Borderlands a long time ago, and something else by Hodgson too, but I can't think for the life of me think what. But anyway, so I really do like his stuff. So I'm interested, kind of going through and reading the selections from that Nightshade Leatherbound that I've got and reading that. And I think the first one is The Ghost Pirates. So I'm gonna get to that. Actually, that Borges was not very expensive. It was not. It was not much more to get that. Was it? I'm gonna say that. I've not. Sometimes I just kind of go I'll take it. It's fine. We'll see. Maybe it was, but it was not. I don't think it was unreasonable. I don't remember having to wait a day or two and think about it. So it must not have been too bad. Yeah. Oh, is it good? That's awesome to hear that. Thank you very much. By the way, thanks for joining. I'm really excited about it. I've read a little bit of Borges, Really, really, really liked it. Actually, you know what really made me pull the trigger on this is Bob and Zach from Wheel of Genre were talking about This Immortal, which I think is in this collection. Is that right? I think this is The Immortal is in this collection. And they were talking about that story, and it really, really piqued my interest. And I thought, I need to get something. That's the book I'm going to get. So I picked it up, and I'm really excited to read that. Yeah, I kind of made a joke where I think Gomez and I were talking a little bit, and I started talking about something, and I kind of went on to this really. Occasionally, I do like really like long-winded responses. It's almost like a paragraph to somebody's comment on a video, and I'm always thinking, did I chase somebody off when I did that? It's like, oh, this guy talked too much. Thanks. Anyway, Gomez did this. I believe it's you that did this absolutely amazing Shoshu Dawes video where it's like showing the book, right? Showing the book, you know, like showing like this and everything. And the other side is like this video of like someone going through this, like these corridors, and there's like almost like some green screen stuff going on. I totally loved it. And then like this weird doors cover that where the lyrics are changed. It's just great. I hope this is you, because otherwise you're like, oh, I'm getting credit for something I didn't do. Pretty sure though, somebody said it was. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I can be wrong. I've been wrong before. I can be wrong again. It's fantastic. It's so damn good, so fun to watch, and so weird, and it's very inspiring. I actually got a really weird idea based on that video. So if I do that weird idea, I'm totally going to give credit where credit is due. So yes, looks good. Boats. Is that the yes? Is that the collection? No, it's not my collection. I don't know what I'm reading. The Ghost Pirates. Oh, maybe you're saying Nightland. Oh, you're asking me. I see. I'm catching up. I don't remember what it was. It might have been Nightland. Oh, I cannot remember. I can't remember what. You know what? No, it was which Hodgson story is it when they're in the Sargasso Sea? I think it was that. I think it's a Hodgson story. Well, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Jack, yo, what's going on? Hello. We're saying hello. No, it was not Shambles. It's great. It's really great. I think Levi has got a list where he lists everything. I hope that video is in there. Hope. It's really great. I'm going to share that video because I won't be able to do it here because I don't know. I'll probably mess something up. I'm totally going to share it in a post because it's great. Totally inspired by it. I was like talking to my daughter. I'm like, we could do this thing and this other thing, and she's like, I got schoolwork. Okay, fine. Yes, Chris is right. It is amazing. No need to blush. When it's true, right? It's easy to recommend something that's amazing. It's always great. So now that was let's see, yes. So the other stuff that came today, because I want to do this. Speaking of Levi, I finally ordered his book, The Sunken Door. Right, Outlaw Levi Wallace wrote a book. I've heard very good things about it, and I'm really excited about it. This is from Amazon Print on Demand, which I actually kind of love. I think there's a lot of people in our circle are doing this. One thing about this I love that I think is maybe like a kind of a hidden benefit that to me really speaks to me is that whenever you get something like this, in the very back of the book, it tells you when it was printed and where it was printed. So you have like this little timestamp of when you got that book. And I think that's kind of awesome. I don't know why. It's sort of like I used to save the receipt for a book so I could remember like, oh, I got this book at this time. Instead of just like, I don't know where I got that book or when I got it or how I got it. I kind of like there's this little timestamp on it. So that's pretty awesome. I'm really excited to check this out. This cover is gorgeous. There's two covers. There's the hardback cover. It wasn't much more to upgrade to hardback. And I think there's a soft cover. I think the soft cover edition is like a door, like kind of like a door and like these weird tentacles or something. I'm going to say this is the superior cover of the two. This is my judgment. And it wasn't much more to get the hardback. So I went for it. And it looks like it'll be, I've heard high praise from people about it. So I'm excited for that. We're going to do the next one. I got Dark Matter by John Chapman. Obviously, we're talking about News from the Gelding here. Heard really great things about this. Only the option for the paperback here, but that's okay. Yeah, and see, and it was also print on demand. So it says, I don't know if you can see, made in the USA, printed in Illinois, right? In Monty, Illinois, on September 13th, 2025. I love that it's got that little timestamp. I just love it. Heard great things about this too. Heard, before any of us agreed to write together, we heard some very good things about both of these books. So very excited for that. So this is exciting. Now this came a couple days ago, and I did a post because he was a guest on our literally liminal. But Tim's book, Nesh, came the other day, right? Tim from Secret Fire Books. This looks good. Tim was like talking about it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, there's a story in here about this and this. I think it's about a maze or something." And I was like, "Well, if I wasn't going to buy your book already, now I'm definitely going to buy it." So I'm really excited to check this out. This is going to be great. I think I'm just really excited to get to interact with people who are creating things right now. I think we've had a little bit of discussion. Paul kind of had this sort of slightly ranty video, but that's okay. But I think the end of that video was really what his message was, which is that he's excited about the community and this sort of like indie publishing that's happening. And I really feel like these guys, this is where it's happening. I think like the fiction that I want to read is in this indie industry. It's not so much in the mainstream. I say that, and of course I'm going to show you some mainstream books here in a minute, but I really feel it's there. Very excited to read all of those things. So it's gonna be pretty exciting. I'm going to go through some comments here. Let's see what we got here. Oh, let's see. Bonuses. Let's see. I think we have this one. It is a good looking book. All of them are, by the way. My good looking wizard. That's right. Oh, really? Really? I didn't know. See, here's the thing, and I kind of like this. I did not read any description of any of these books, and I don't plan to. I plan to just go into them as cold as I possibly can. So I don't know if it was horror or not. To me, this was totally like Warhammer 40K imagery, right? That's what I kind of felt. So that, although I don't know if that's at all what he's going for. It doesn't matter. But I didn't read the back of the book or anything. It looks like it's a collection of short stories. I didn't read anything. I like going in very cold and just sort of knowing. Him, of course, reacting to the fact that I'm showing his book. Well, I don't know why. I've heard nothing but praise about Tim's work, so totally excited to check it out. Deep Ashtray, what's going on? It's good to see you. I am in a liminal space. Oh, we are. I'm always in a liminal space, honestly. Hey, what's going on, man? Works for John A. Douglas. Oh, fantastic. So glad to have you. Thanks for showing up. Really appreciate it. When they say go here, go here. This is true. Honestly, thanks so much for stopping by, Go Man. I'm just glad I got to talk about your video when you were here. That's super cool. Yeah, Chris is always like Chris does a lot of like community work for me. He's like, "Oh, have you seen this video?" I'm like, "No, I haven't had a chance to." He's like, "Go see it." I'm like, "Okay." And then it's like, "Oh, well, I'm so glad I got sent here by Chris." Right. He does a lot of times, like something I'll miss. And he was like, "Did you see this?" No. Always great recommendations. He's always sends me there too. So you're not the only one. I guess I'm sorry, Mayor of Work City. I don't know offhand. Do you have a channel? Or tell us more. Let's hear it. Let's know. In the meantime, I'll keep going. So I want to show, let's see, two things. One thing that came today and one thing that I got at the bookstore the other day. I found what is a really favorite sci-fi series of mine by John Scalzi. I found what I believe is a first edition of Old Man's War. They had this there. It was not cheap, but it wasn't crazy. So I was like, okay, I'm doing it because this is a series I just love. I mean, I was a little less enamored by the second book, Ghost Brigade, but after that, it got into some really great, I guess you'd say space opera. I don't know if that's quite accurate or not. I was thrown for a loop. There's somewhere in the series, there's the same book is retold as like a young adult book. I don't remember what the titles of those are. I think it's like Zoe's Tale or something is like a retelling of the previous book, but in the young adult form. which I thought was weird. I'm like, haven't I read this book? I'm like, no. Anyhow, but this is an amazing book, by the way. The premise is that it's very Heinlein-esque. So if you like Heinlein or maybe Joe Hadelman, it's very much in that. It has very much of that same tone. The premise being that there's this sort of galactic war going on, and this one service is only taking you if you're over a certain age. You have to be at least like 65 or like over like retirement age or something in order to join up. Only then, and I think that's the only way to get off the planet, only way to get off Earth or something, right? Of course, and that's a really great mystery that starts the book. Of course, you can't go very far because that mystery is sort of shattered, and then we get the story that we get, right? Which is great. Highly recommended if you like. Probably if you like Heinlein or Hadelman, you've probably already heard about this book and read it. But if you haven't, really, really, really good stuff. So love this. That was a really cool find for me because I was like, oh, this is a favorite. I'm like, do I want to pay? I think it was like $30. I'm like, that's a pretty reasonable price. I had a slight discount, so I went ahead and picked it up, and I don't regret it. So that was cool because I knew this was happening. This just came out, or is just coming out. John Scalzi's The Shattering Peace just came out, which I think is the 7th book in the series. I've not read them all. The 7th novel in the series, right? And it wasn't very much to get this book and to get it with, well, it would have been cool if I would have been prepared to get it with his John Scalzi right there, which is pretty cool. So it was not much more. I think it was a cover price. Yeah, I did. I paid the cover price. I did. I just paid the cover price for it, and I got it signed. So that was pretty cool. I've not read anything by Scalzi except for the Old Man's War series. It's all of his I've read. I don't know. Not a lot of his other stuff really piqued my interest as much, but I really enjoy that series. So there we go. All right. See if we're talking cool. You see you back. Oh, you used to have one and you nuked it. Well, that happens to a lot of us. I've definitely, you know what? I feel your pain because there was definitely times where I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do this. It can be a bit exhausting. You do have to sort of like, there's a point I think in anybody who has a channel for any amount of time where you feel like you're working and it's like nothing is happening, or maybe it seems like you're almost like retro, like going backwards a little bit almost, and it's tough. And I guess I had to find out that it was like, I'm just doing it because I just insist that I'm going to do it. I'm not going to stop for whatever reason, but it doesn't work out for everybody. And of course, there's times where I'm like, I don't know if I got time for this, but everybody else, I think I almost actually not that long ago was kind of like, I don't know. And Chris was like, hey, you haven't posted anything in like a month or two. You okay? I'm like, yeah, I've been busy. He's like, well, you should do it. Okay, Chris. So Chris kind of reeled me back in, right? I was borderline it for a little bit, but he reeled me back in. A Twitter fiber. Fair enough. Fair enough. I don't do Twitter. I don't do TikTok or any of this stuff. I just feel like, what it is. I shouldn't even really be on Instagram because even that can just like suck you into short form stuff. And short form for me is like, I know I'll get sucked into that vortex and I might never come back out. So I'm just like, sometimes your own limitations, right? Yes, it is. We got Goog, and we got Watt. It's a Goog Watt. Any favorite indie fantasy books? Interesting. Independent fan. I don't know okay. Maybe. I wish I had it down here. Dang. I discovered a fantasy series, which is massive, right? This is only one book out. I'll explain that it's not really out, but I'll explain in a second. That is huge. I discovered this book and it looks really good. Read a bit of it, but the problem is like I couldn't buy it anywhere. I couldn't buy a physical copy of it, and so I sent an email off to the writer. I'm like, listen, do you have a copy of your book? Because like I want it. I really, really want it. Like, what do you want for it? I'll pay you. I want to copy this book because I bought the ebook through Amazon. And he's like, well, I'm in like a legal battle with the publisher. He's like, I just won, and we're going to re-release it. And that's The Wyvern and the Wolf by, dang it, I cannot remember the writer's name. Give me, you know what? We're going to do the thing. I always get nervous with clicking on this to see if I can find it here. a very clicky keyboard by here it is. No, not to be confused, but here it is. It's by Nicholas Snelling. So I emailed him and he was so kind, signed it and sent me a copy, right? Didn't even charge me, right? From Australia, by the way. So I'm sure it was not cheap. He seems I had a little bit of correspondence with him. Seems amazing. Unfortunately, the book is upstairs over there, so it would take too long to get. It reads really good. Now, I say this, however, you can't even buy the ebook anymore. It was pulled too. I feel like that's probably because he won that legal battle with the publisher, so the publisher pulled it, and he's going to re-release that book and the sequel. And it is a doorstop of a book. It's like this weird combination of like post-apocalyptic fantasy mixed with like ninjas and samurai and stuff like that. It's kind of like if you mix like a ninja book, maybe, or like some like ninja fantasy with like post-apocalyptic fantasy. And just maybe even some traditional fantasy, and it was reading really good. I really, really liked it. I'm slowly churning through that when I have time. I've got a bunch of other obligations, but I'm really highly recommending it. You don't have a way to purchase it right now, though. So I'll keep people updated. I told them, like, as soon as that book's going to hit, I'll promote the book. I'm really, really enjoying what I'm reading from it. But it is massive. It's huge. I think he had some sort of connection. I think this is part of the problem with this band called 12 Foot Ninja. There was some sort of a release that they had, and his book got released, and it was like somehow associated, but like that. I think part of it is breaking that association. And I see some of 12 Foot Ninja's music has been pulled from Spotify. So I don't even know what's going on. But anyways, it's really great. If I could think of another independent one, I'll mention it. But that's the one that comes to mind right now that I really want to talk about because it read really good. And it was kind of cool that he got the rights to his own book back. And he's going to re-release that book and then release the second one. So maybe worth checking out. Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, you know what? That sucks. And I don't know what the circumstances are, but yeah, I really, sometimes it feels like that they make choices that don't seem very informed. Well, let's put it like that. I'm very unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that. You can always start another one. Let us know if you do. Repost. This makes me laugh because and I'm not to make like of that situation, but posting orc reminds me of that. I read a few years ago. I read this I read a bunch of erotica, and one of them was like this orc erotica like whole thing. And it's a whole series, and I was like, this book. Ugh. And a friend of mine from Discord, who's also friends with Curtis from Deep in the Reads, is like reading the whole series, and she's talking about it. I'm like, are you talking about this book? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, there is so much fluid in that book. She laughed. She's like, yes. But it was that fiction isn't really for me. I had fun reading it, but it really isn't for me. But she was having a lot of fun with it, which I enjoyed. Right? I know that there's a huge market for that sort of stuff, and I love that there is. I love people who are enjoying that stuff. It just was like, well, I don't think I want to read a lot of this, but it was fun when I tried it. That's what that reminds me of. Sorry, deviation. So thanks so much for showing up. I really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll get to see more of you. Hey, what's going on, Mr. Mayhem? All is doing good. Thanks for showing up. I really enjoyed I've seen your channel before, and I finally was like, okay, I gotta dive in. I gotta try this. And really enjoyed some of your Western videos because I really enjoy Westerns as well. And I really enjoyed that the 7 Western plots. I really like that. And then you had those ace double Westerns that you were showing off, and I was just like, I almost was drooling, right? It was almost that good. I was like, oh, this looks so good. And I was totally like writing down names. I'm like, who is this writer? Okay. So there's a little used bookstore. I don't know of many used like mom and pop bookstores in the area. I know very, very few. And this one has been there forever, and it's right next to I think it's a Lutheran church. And at some point, the bookstore couldn't support itself anymore, so the church bought it. And I think it's run by the church now. I think. Anyhow, they have a bunch of used westerns in there. They have a bunch of used books, but they're a little too wise in their pricing. Like they really, you could tell somebody's like looking on eBay at the price and then marking their books to that price, and it's like, okay. But I don't think that they're doing a lot of that to their westerns. Oh, you know what? If I can find it, I might show one other thing that I wasn't planning to. You know what? I'll show a couple other things here. I wasn't planning to show these, but since we're talking about westerns, I want to show this because these were a couple little westerns that I got, a couple from the library sale, which I still have to do, and also from that bookstore. This was I think the prime time best find at that bookstore western book that I just loved is this book called Cowboy Slang. And it is just awesome, right? And it's all like phrases and like cowboy slang, and it's so goddamn good. It's so good. Like here was it said in the back, it says, so drunk he couldn't hit the ground with his hat in 3 tries. Oh God, I love that. Here for a hanging, about to get a hemp neck massage. Just love it. Just love it. It has all that stuff. And then the back, I think it has a dictionary of horse terms, gear, and such, which I think was so cool. This was like, I was like, this was like finding gold. It was like finding gold just laying on the street. Parts of a horse, right? All labeled, which I thought was super cool. I don't know why. I just think this is so amazing. Colors, the names for the different colors of horses and what they all correspond to. Like I kind of knew what piebald meant, but there's lots of it in here. Claybank, for example, is like a dun with a shade of yellow. So I love that. Parts of a horse skeleton, which I think is super cool. Slang names for horses. Knothead is one. Cattle brands, a whole thing about branding. Right, a whole thing about different cattle brands and different stuff. There's a lot more. I'm just showing the stuff that's going to show up on the screen. I think there's a whole thing with ear crops for cattle, right? The different types of crops, the way they would crop the cattle's ears, and what all those meant and what they look like. It was just, it's so good. Different types of now. Here's an interesting thing that I didn't know. They're calling it bob wire, B-O-B, and I don't think that's a typo. I always thought it was barb wire, and I don't know if it's changed to barb wire. I have not read this book, but they're calling it bob wire in here. It shows all different types of bob wire, when it was patented, what it's called, which is awesome. It's this thing at the back. What is it? A handkerchief, a neckerchief, a bandana, a wipe, or what? And it just talks everything about that. And I think this is so cool. I was like, wow, this is awesome. And here's the guy the writer, Edgar R. Frosty Potter. Right? What a great picture. What a great picture. And then I think this is Ms. Potter, Mrs. Potter, I imagine there. I imagine so. So it was super cool find. I think they had a couple other, I don't know if they have any other books in this series, but they had more stuff like this there. And I was like, this was just great. And the other two things I found were these two Westerns that there's almost nothing, I could find so little on the internet about them. But Robert E. Thurvathan, I'm just gonna mess it up. Trevathan, Plunder Trail. Right, and this is part of a series, an Avalon Western series. These were from the library, so these were very inexpensive. I don't know anything about them, but I just liked. Honestly, I liked the appearance, and I liked that it was like just kind of an obscure Western that seemed like it could be great. From this is from 1985. Sorry, I do not know how to spell or pronounce, I should say, the last name. The other one I found in that same series is Dawson Gold Fever by James Wesley. And this one looked really good too. Trying to get that glare cut down. Anyways, looked really cool. So there we go. We're going to keep moving. Let's see. Okay, wait, I'm missing some. So wait a minute. Do I know him at the personal level? I don't know. Yes, it was excellent. Very excellent. Okay. Thanks so much for showing up. Really appreciate it. I really, really do. Thank you. Darn, dude. Tim. Oh, yes, it's great. Edgar R. Frosty Potter. This was put out, I don't know when, Golden Western Publishers, and it was this copyright on this is 1993, fifth printing. So I think it must have been reasonably popular if they reprinted it 5 times. It's really great. This like little book, just super fun. I'll have to check this out. I love it. Oh yeah, yeah. Like fishing slang is another thing. I guess maybe this is what we're talking about a little bit. There's some great stuff. I think I have a the only book I have kind of like that is there's some sort of like dictionary of terms that's associated with the Master and Commander series. There's a guy who wrote this book. It's like the dictionary. It's not called the Dictionary of the Master. It's Patrick O'Brien. Is that right? O'Brien. Anyways, that's a great book as well. Just sort of like a dictionary of all the different sort of like nautical sort of terminology that goes in those books. I really thought it was neat. That's a fantastic book as well, if I'm on the right subject. Ah, thank you. Now, see, that's cool because I was like, I've heard barbed wire before, but I've never heard it said bob wire. And do we know, is there a specific reason it's called bob wire, or is it just sort of like that's what we called it? I don't know. That's kind of cool. Word was invented in 1863. Okay, it was barbed wire originally. Word was invented in 1863 to describe the fencing material. Can't find anything on barbed wire. Interesting. And he says, really, which is probably what I said. And then he said, for me, he says, interesting. Thank you. Barbed wire is a thing. Yes. Maybe Bob was barbed. That was good. I like that. That was good. That was good. All right. Let's do some of these other ones. This one, I think I'm sending this book off too. I saw this. I'm okay with the movie, and but I didn't really have much interest in the book. But I think I'm gonna send it off to a friend. And that's the novelization of the movie, which is in turn inspired by the story by H.P. Lovecraft, Reanimator. So this is the novelization of the movie Reanimator. This I think is the reprint. This is it not in great shape? It's got a little damage here, but I'm going to send this one off. This one's going to Nick, right? This is going out to Nick. It was so inexpensive, and I'm like, I'll send this off to him. And I talked to my brother-in-law, and he's like, oh, I've got to copy that. Which I knew he probably did because he really loves horror and he loves novelizations. So he was like, oh, I want to get that. So, okay. So he's doing it. Now, there's just a few more books from that. I saw these two Paula Volosky books in a series. The first one is Illusion, and I've seen this book before. It's a fantasy series, kind of a beefy one. And I just love this cover. If I can get the glare off of it, just gorgeous cover. I'm guessing this is a Whelan. It looks like a Whelan. Let's see here. I say this, and then of course I might spend 20 minutes looking in here and going, who's it? Copyright, book design, illustration. Oh, no. That's the book title. Where does it say? Is it in the back? Yep. Michael Whelan, jacket illustration, Michael Whelan. So, and then hand lettering by Ron Zinn. So I guess the lettering was done by hand. Very cool. Maybe that's someone else. So this looks really cool. And they had the sequel to this, I believe. This is the sequel. It's part of it. I don't know if it's the only sequel. Grand Ellipse, which is also great. Both of these are like pristine condition. And I think this book was like $2 at the bookstore, right? They just were like, we don't even want it. I'm like, okay, I'll take it. And I've seen something about this writer before. I've seen this book and it looked really interesting. And I should show it too. It has a wraparound cover as well, which is pretty cool. So these both look really good. So I was pretty excited about that. Let me catch up here. Bob Wire. X. Okay. Chris is laughing just as I laugh because it was the good one. Yes, he does. That's right. I picked up the Alan Foster novelization with the UK cover for the thing and gave it to him. And he was like, "Ooh!" And so he has a bunch of other stuff like that. He's got some super obscure stuff, like really, really, really rare stuff. I'm sure, right? He also is a huge toy collector, and so he's got like he has like this room, like the number of books I have, he probably has of like toys still in packages, right? And like rare stuff too. He was a big collector. I don't know if he still is collecting as much, but he was big, big, big on it. Oh, so that's interesting. Yeah, so I don't know if it's just a dialect thing, or I don't know why Bob, but I think it's fascinating. Maybe this book, Cowboy Slang, talks about it, but that's such a cool thing. You know, I thought I saw it and I'm like, well, this is obviously not a typo, you know, because it occurs a few times. So this is that. It was really interesting to see like how it sort of developed or why it's like this. It's one of those things you're like, why is it like that? You don't think about it until somebody starts questioning it, right? Indeed. I've gone on many such side quests myself. The last two that I got from that bookstore were these older horror hardbacks. Um, both of them look really good. So there's this one by John R. Maxim, Abel Baker Charlie. And what a weird kind of like the Isle of Dr. Moreau cover, right? It looks really good and really weird. I think I looked up a little bit about this book on Goodreads, and the reviews were pretty good. People said that this was a good book. So I've never heard of this writer, not heard of this book. Um, this is what was it say? I'm trying to pull down glasses that don't exist, phantom glasses, if you will. First came Stephen King's Firestarter. Then there was Martin Cruz Smith's Gorky Park, and now there is John Maxim's Abel Baker. I'm sorry, Baker, Charlie. A beast is loose in Manhattan, a beast created by chance and behavioral science, a beast that looks like a man and kills like a machine, a beast of terrible power and invincibility, a beast who can vanish in a second because his hiding place is deep within the mind of Jared Baker. Ooh, so it's kind of like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing. So that sounds pretty cool. The reviews were very, very good for this. Very good. Um, in general. But this was from the 80s, 83, it says, for the jacket illustration. Yeah, 1983. So I've not heard of the writer before, not heard of the book before, but I thought it was pretty, and it was very inexpensive. And the other one, then this one cracked me up because I was like, anybody heard of this? And there was like, no, not heard of it, not heard of it. And then all of a sudden they're like, we're sending like in the text we were sending back and forth, it was like, get the book, get the book. I'm like, okay, I'll get it. And that's Michael Talbot's The Bog. And that's what originally got me was this cover, this amazing cover. I'm like, okay, so we had the fog, we have the mist, and now we have the bog. And it's talking about, I think, the bog in Scotland, and how it preserves. It's about someone who is investigating these like bog bodies, like these bodies that get preserved in the bogs of Scotland, I believe. I'm trying to remember the book without reading it. And this discovery that was made about, and this thing that maybe has been killing people for a while and sort of hiding the bodies in the bog or something like that. It sounds really good. And I don't know what got people who, I don't know what got everybody else excited about it who I was talking to. My friends here on BookTube were like, oh, don't get it. I don't know what it was. I'm like, okay, all right, fine. Put it in the basket. So that was pretty cool. So we'll see what happens. And heavy ball accent. That's interesting. Bad. Did I say something or I don't know what's happening? So that was the main stuff. I don't know how long we've been doing this here. Let's flip these up so I can see. About an hour. I gave him work and show. I don't know if we want to wrap it up. I didn't really think anybody's going to show up. So I didn't know how much I should bring on here. Let me know, or we can just talk, or you can ask me random questions. We can do whatever we want. I'm my boss. Well, for the moment. Show us your, show us my what? Name something. Let's see if I can find something. Tell me, like, show me a thing. Show me a this, and we'll see if we can do it. We can try that. Book the new folio. We can do that. That's easy. That's right here. So, folio edition of Book of the New Sun. Um, how much was this? This was not cheap. This was not cheap. This was like, I think it was about $200. Oh, I heard saying that, and I thought about it for a long, long, long time. But I think I ordered my wife the folio edition of Alice in Wonderland for like a birthday or something. And I thought, well, I would never really want to spend that much on a book. I just couldn't justify it. But I thought, if you're ever going to spend a lot on a collector's edition book, shouldn't it be your favorite book? And so I was like, well, I guess it should be my favorite book. So I picked it up. I don't know that I would order. I've ordered some more Subterranean Press books, which are expensive and I think really just about as good, but not quite as pricey. But I went ahead and did it. I was like, okay, I'll do it one. I can let myself go one time, right? I can indulge this once, as if I don't indulge ever. So split into two parts, which I think is probably the best way to for the Book of the New Sun, honestly, is to be split into the first two and the second two. It should, I think it reads almost like a part one and part two. So this is the first book, right? This is probably the cover for Shadow of the Torturer and the cover for Claw the Conciliator for this volume. It has some interior illustrations also. Let's see, I can show a few of them. Interesting. Which I think are nice, but I honestly think those covers for the original ones are so evocative. They're so good, especially that cover for the Claw, the Conciliator is, to me, just maybe one of my favorite book covers I've ever seen. I think this is, no, my goodness, I'm sorry. I had it totally backwards. This is Sword and Citadel. I'm like, this doesn't seem like this is called. This is the book 3 and 4. So, so this is the sword of the lictor, or as Chris and I like to say, the policeman's sword. That's the cover for this book. Getting some yellow sweaties there. And this is the cover for the Citadel of the Autarch. So this is the second half, book 3 and book 4. Ooh, man. Probably somebody on the chat was like, you're not right. You got it backwards. Oh, interesting. Right. I don't know if this is spoilers. It probably isn't. There's so little reference to what these images are that I don't think that there's anything. Maybe that's actually a bit of a naked pic there. I don't know if I should be showing naked pics. Interesting. I think this is definitely an interesting take. I think it's pretty cool. It's sort of like I kind of wonder, why did I get it? Am I going to read these? Not really. It was fun to hold them up in the discussions, for sure. Oh, I probably shouldn't show that one. Oh, some people don't have clothes on in these pictures. Of course, here we have what I imagine is Thecla, and this is Shadow and Claw. So this would be the cover for Shadow of the Torturer, and here we have Claw of the Conciliator. That's a really great cover for Claw. Still like the other one with Severian holding up the claw before the sort of the Beastman. Right. Look at that. Some great interior stuff. Is it worth it? I don't know. This almost doesn't look. What a weird picture. It almost looks modern. It doesn't. It almost looks modern there. So I was glad to get it. Right. It was kind of like, this is cool. I enjoy it. There's definitely some interesting interpretations that I like, but I still love those classic covers by Don Matz. Not going to even try. Going to get it wrong. Book the New Sun. Yes, that's what we did. BB Cave. Okay, give me a sec. We can come back to that. What do I have? Not much, but I can show you what I have. I think I started this off with that, so I can show that again, but I might have another one down here. So hold that again. Yeah. Anybody? Okay. Wait a minute. Let's do the good work here right now. Anybody who came here just a little bit late, Tim from Secret Fire Books has a brand new book out. Go get it. Nesh. And of course, I love the only thing you read about this book when you flip it over is the quote, Nesh. They screamed as they tore my flesh. I love it. It's great. Go check this out, man. Go get this. Right? And we got Tim's book, all T.H. Brandt is who you need to look up for. I posted something in the community. Try again. I posted in a community post for this, and so did Chris. So go check this out. And while we're at it, we'll just hold up our other BookTube friends, news from the Geldings book, Dark Matter as well, and Outlaw Levi's The Sunken Door book. This is a hardback version. He has a paperback version as well. I believe they have ebook versions. One of them is Kindle Unlimited. One of either News from the Geldings book is Kindle Unlimited, or Levi's is one or the other. I can't remember. One of them you have to buy. One of them is a Kindle Unlimited book. So there's an option there if you're a Kindle Unlimited guy or gal or what's it say? Person, human. What's it say? Human. Here's the thought: Cowboys hated barbed wire as a word. Bob means to cut short, as in bobbed hair cut. So, oh, interesting. I like that. I like the thought process there. Let's see. I do not have that downstairs. That is the wife's folio, and that's upstairs, unfortunately. I don't know if we have any Alice down here. Let me go back up here though, and let's do the Hubie Cave. So if you missed it at the very beginning, the first thing I held up very quickly after I started was The Legion of the Dead by Hubie Cave. I believe Andrea got Morgenstern recently. I think you got a really nice, I think it's the original printing of Morgenstern by Carl Edgar Wagner. I think it's the Carcosa Press, maybe. Is that right? Which I'm very jealous of, because I'm reading through that collection of Hubie Cave stories, and they're freaking awesome. Honestly, I think those are kind of earlier horror stories, because I think Morgenstern is like 30s or something, maybe 40s. And I was surprised at how much like sex and stuff there is, and like talk like that, like very kind of racy, you could say. Anyway, which I thought was pretty interesting. They read so good, by the way. They're really good. I was impressed. So this one, Legion of the Dead, and this is a novel of love and voodoo, which is cool. I think I've got another Hubie Cave. I picked one up, but I don't know where it's at. Is it around here? Is it accessible? Is really the question, and it might not be. You might have to go and be like going for 20 minutes looking for it, and it's not interesting to watch the chair empty. And I don't know where I'd find it, because I'm still in some sort of weird limbo. That's the only one I have handy. Right? Probably right. We're gonna say it's the only handy. So if I had more, I'd show more, but I don't. So that's what we got. Okay, let's go back to here first. So I do not have a folio Alice. My wife, one of her absolute favorites is Alice in Wonderland. And I've said this before. I'm like, you and Chris both like Alice in Wonderland as like favorites. And she's like, I know, because we're smart. She said something like that. And I was like, yeah, okay, you win. I don't know if I have any other cool Alice stuff to show. What is that? No, there's a bunch of stuff on the very top of our bookshelf. I'm looking to see if any of that's Alice. I don't think it is. We probably have a bunch of stuff. She likes to collect. Yeah, I think if she sees an Alice cover, she'll like buy it. I think we have a Disney. Oh, it's Peter Pan. The Disney Peter Pan book, an old one. But anyway, I don't know if I have anymore, so I apologize. I would if I could, but I don't know if I can, so I won't. The bog, it looks cool, doesn't it? They were all like, get the bog. I'm like, okay. Like, I will get this book. It looks really good. So I'm excited about it. Yeah. Of these covers, yes, I think that is really good. Super evocative, right? Just great. I just love it. They're all pretty cool. I mean, I like the design. I think the choice is made to maybe step away from that more traditional sort of splash, like really cool covers, and make them a little more subdued. I guess that's probably like a Folio Society decision in general, to sort of make hardcover books that are more subdued, so that they all kind of have a similar mood. You don't want to have this cover be really bright and explosive and actiony, and then another color be understated. I guess that's sort of like a thing. I don't even know how that works. Anyway, yes, you will, and you should. You should. You should, because it's great. I think it's great. I haven't read it yet, but I'm very excited to read it. I actually showed it to my daughter, and I was like, before I left for work, because it came on a Sunday, and I had to go to work. I'm like, here, look at this, and she's like, oh, I'm like, if you want to read this, you can. I don't know if she did. I tried to get her to read something today, and she's just like, oh, I took a picture of it. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, the book's right here. Like this little, it was like 2 pages right. Like, read this. She's like, oh, I take a picture. I'll read it on my phone later. What are you talking about, kid? Yeah, you did. I would love. You need to show that off. I think. Well, you probably maybe you have plans to do it. Maybe you have, and I didn't see it. But it's I when I first did that, I did a review for just the story Morgenstrom, um, a single review for it, and maybe slightly misidentified it as weird menace. Although I could maybe make a case for the fact that it is, but because Nick's like, is it really weird menace? And he would know. But I thought, well, maybe it is. But if to sort of defend it, I sort of have to spoil it. And I don't want to spoil the story because the it with everything going on in that story, it's surprising who the most frightening character is. So I liked Morgenstrom a lot. Lee Brown cover design, yeah. Lee Brown Coy cover design, yeah. I'm assuming we're talking about Morgenstrom. Andrea, when's your first live? Yeah, be right after this, right? No. I don't know that I was ready either, as you can see. This was how it goes. I was like sitting here and I sent it off and I'm like, I sent off a text saying, well, maybe I'll do it. I don't know. I'm like, well, whatever. We'll just see if anybody shows up. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Get a call, whatever. I would say I'll join. I have a real problem with commitment. I love to commit. I love to be like, I'll do it. I'll do whatever you want to do it. I'll do it. I'll do it for you. And then I'm like, ooh, maybe am I overcommitted? I have a problem with overcommitting. Oh, Nightshade Holly. Hello. Hey, Virgil, everyone. Just so this is happening, glad to see you all. Virgil's first live. Yes. Yes. Although when I started to go in there, I remember that the time that Chris and I tried to do literally liminal with Ira, it failed, and I tried to do it on my channel. And so perhaps for about 5 minutes, there was a live show of me going, hello, huh? Hello. Maybe. I don't know if that ever made it to you know what? No, wait, maybe it didn't. Maybe it didn't because we had such problems with StreamYard, and we couldn't get StreamYard to work. And we thought we were messed up, but it turns out StreamYard was messing with us, and I don't know, they were trying to get some money out of us or something probably. Actually, I don't know if that's true. I think there was just some sort of a software issue with an update or something, and our computers were up to date, but the software wasn't, or vice versa. I don't know why it affected us and not everyone else. It's great to have you. Thank you. Let's say hello. Individual folio books, quite interesting. However, they seem to be a little consistent from book to book. Yeah, I don't know if see, and that's what this is. Like a lot of those, what I think of these like luxury publishers, because that's totally like I couldn't afford. Like I'm not a folio person. Like you're never going to see me with folios lining these shelves. Although you can probably look on YouTube and find that quite easily. I could never afford to do that. And I don't know who does do that except to sort of maybe show off. I want to say that cautiously because some people just love books. And if I could get more folios, maybe I would. I find them to be a little pricey. My justification for Book of the New Sun was it's 4 books. Okay, $50 a book. Oh, $50 a book? That's not too bad, right? And I was getting a gift for my wife, so I saved on shipping there. I kind of split the shipping with it. So I'm like, okay, that's not the worst. Let's do it. Now I know this is like not the first printing of it. These are not the first printing of these. This is like the 5th printing or something like that. This is 2021. Well, you know what? You do have these for a reason, don't you? Text of this edition. It says the text of this edition follows that of the first editions with minor amendments. Does it say which edition this is? It doesn't. I don't. It might. It probably does if I dug a little deeper, but it's not the first edition. I remember when this was coming out, first edition. I'm like, oh, cool, and I clicked on it, and then I was like, nope, and I clicked right off because it was like $1,000 or something insane. No, it wasn't. It was $750, right? And that's $750 pre-COVID money. It was. I was like, I can't. I'm like, I love that book. There's no way I'm paying that. I'm like, I have the books already. It's not like the book wasn't offering me something that I didn't already have, so I couldn't justify that expense. Some people probably have big collections. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that there's probably a lot of consistency. I don't know why. I would think that they'd want you to get them all, but I'm never going to be that guy. Did I deviate? I deviated a lot. We're just going to keep going. But anyhow, I love the Folio Society stuff. I think the condition is really, the printing quality is really high, but I don't know that they're that much higher. I guess maybe they are a little better than Subterranean Press, but not a lot better than Subterranean Press. So I can afford Subterranean Press. I need to go back and afterwards watch everything I missed. Person question. That's great. It's great to come. I'm so glad that you got to show up. Thanks very much. I really appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, and that's kind of my thought too, is that their interior illustrations are is cool, but they're maybe not quite what I want or expect. I don't know. Maybe they're giving the artist free reign. I don't really know what, how that works. It'd be interesting to find out the artist that did these interior illustrations. Maybe I should say who the artist is. Sam Weber. If Sam Weber was a fan of the series, or if they just commissioned him and say, hey, make some illustrations for this. And Sam Weber was like, okay. It'd be interesting to know. I would hope that they found an illustrator who they felt like matched up well with the theme of the book that they were going to have them illustrate, and that person was a fan of the book. But maybe that's not always possible. So they might have just been like, hey, just make a picture that looks like this. Make a picture that looks like this. Who knows, right? I don't want to dine out on somebody, as they say. I pre-COVID money. We all know about pre-COVID money, right? Right? When COVID money, we know about it. We don't need to talk about it. Is there a full? I don't know. I don't honestly. I don't look at their stuff a whole lot. They did have some. Was it Folio that had the Hosea Bancroft stuff? They had one. He did. So Hosea Bancroft did the Babel series. There's like 3 or 4 books in that series. I think there's 4. What's the first one? Bancroft. And now I'm trying to remember the title of the book. I can't remember it. But he had a short story collection, and it had a very pretty cover. But at the time, I hadn't read anything, so I'm like, "Oh, that looks cool," and it got me. That's how I discovered him. I know I've looked at a few of their things. I want to say they have a really amazing collection of Ursula K. Le Guin's Wizard of Earthsea series. Like that, the hardbacks for that, each one is an individual hardback, and those are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, they really are gorgeous. I'm tempted by them, but even there, I think they're like 65 or 75 just for the book plus shipping, I imagine. I don't know. I don't know about that. That's, I like it, but my wife got me that massive book of Earthsea, right? The huge one illustrated by Charles Vess. Oh, can we get it? Yeah. This one. Of course, I don't think I'd ever read this. This is a weird thing to say that I got this book and I don't know if I ever read it, because it's that. Right. Are you laying in bed reading this? I don't know. I don't know about that. Actually, I recorded an episode with Bob from Wheel of Genre today for the Avram Davidson podcast, Universe podcast. Always get it backwards. And when we were talking about like reading accoutrements, does anybody else remember when they used to have those glasses you could buy out of magazines that you would put on, and they had mirrors that were tilted like this, so you could lay down flat, or I guess with your head in a pillow, and look up and look into a mirror and read a book. Remember seeing those? And I was talking to him. I said, but wouldn't that not work? Because you're looking into a mirror, so wouldn't the book be backwards? So wouldn't there have to be 2 mirrors? And you have to. I don't know. I was just thinking about that. I don't know. And that's like, yeah, this is not a book that you'd want to have to hold up and be like, oh, my hands hurt, It's a prop up. I don't know. I wonder, how do people read? Like if I my ideal reading is probably laying down in bed, which doesn't work well because my wife says that I read until the book hits me in the head twice, and then I usually close it and put it down and go do something and go to sleep. And it seems like there's less time between when I start and when the book hits me in the head twice now than there used to be. So I don't do as much of that anymore. But anyway, I do also like to sit outside and read, but it's just a little too hot right now. It's September and it's been like 100 degrees here in Missouri the past couple of days. It sucks. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, it's fully, we're like, did I answer your question? We'll never know. I do. Oh, okay. Their edition of Roadside Picnic. Okay, that could be cool. Yeah, as a one-off sci-fi novel, I could totally see the folios being worth it. If you had a one-off sci-fi novel that you really like, that could be pretty cool. I'm guessing that you were a little bit sort of underwhelmed maybe with the illustrations. Interesting. Maybe I'm misreading that. Yeah, and I know for a fact there's people out there who would have this entire all everything you see would be folios, and it's wonderful. But I like, and I've said this before, I like ugly books. I like it when the book has like been around. I really enjoy getting like nice, not beat up, but nice copies from the library, right? I really like that. I don't know what it is about it, right? There's also the certain energy when you get a book from a library, like you really want to hurry up and read it. It's like I've never been more motivated to read a book right away as when I came home with it from the library. So I don't know. I kind of like ugly books, but no, it's just not that I only want that. I also like really nice, pristine books, especially the books I like. But yeah. But the folio stuff is just like I I don't know. I can't swing that. Even if I could, I don't know that I would. I'd rather get more books as opposed to like a handful of luxury books and then just more books. Like I'd rather have 100 books as opposed to like 10 that are really nice. I guess, is that right? Yeah, that's true. Keep my phone address. Oh, and Weird Tales. Oh, they have a Weird Tales. See, now that might be worth it. Uh, yes, the illustrations in that like when are amazing. Charles Vess is a fantastic illustrator. He did a bunch of stuff for I think he maybe did like either comic book translations of Gaiman's stories, or he did stuff for Sandman. I think he did stuff for Sandman, but I'm not sure about the like maybe he illustrated Stardust or something. I think that makes sense, which is a really great, despite everything we want to say about Gaiman, but like he wrote some. I don't love everything he did, but some of the stuff he did was really, really good. And so Stardust was one that I really liked. I like that. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff that he did that was good. It's really unfortunate, the whole thing. We're not going to get into that. We don't need to get into it. I don't want to get into it. I don't even care. We're bad. That ship has sailed as far as I'm concerned. It's not a real. Oh no. I'm just saying to hold that book, right? Like you put it on your chest, you're like, oh, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Just that the oh yes, that's true. Right. Okay, so that the clarification. I'm a huge fan of the Earthsea series. I've only read the first three books. I know the fourth book is famous/infamous, which I haven't read yet, but I absolutely love it. And when I read that, I love the first story. I read that, and then many years later, I went and read the second story. I thought, oh, this isn't going to have Sparrowhawk in it. Um, and I was about halfway through that book and I stopped myself and thought, this book is doing everything that a fantasy book is not supposed to do. Like everything a fantasy book shouldn't do, this book is doing. And it's one of the absolute best fantasy books I've ever read in my entire life. And I still think that. I still think that second Earthsea book is like mind-blowingly good fantasy. So, and I stand behind that, even though it's been a long time. Then Chris read it, and I was like, "Ooh, I want to wait and do a reread and review after that." His review exists for a little while. There's always this weird thing that I know is all me about like wanting to like have space, and so I don't feel like I don't like to feel as though I restate something or just state again something that somebody else just said. So I like to have there be a little space. I know that nobody would mind, but it's just me. Yeah, I didn't know that there's a Weird Tales. That's pretty cool. Are you going to talk about it? I thought you just made one. Oh, really? It's green? How bad? How hard does it hit? Is it real rough? I mean, I might be tempted. I might be tempted. Library sales are the best for sure. I don't know. Chris is always going to his friends of the library like store, and I don't. We probably have one. I don't know. I didn't. I'm always. I When we went to the library sale this year, I thought about trying to videotape it, but I felt like it's so packed, right? It's literally like in an event center, right? And the line for that was, I think the line to get in was probably more than a half a mile long, right? That to get in when it opened on Friday, that first day, right? If you're a Friends of the Library member, you got to go in the first day. And I thought there was just too many people, too much going on. Everybody had like a wagon, right? We just brought big, heavy bags, but everybody had a wagon. It's nuts. And I last year when we went, I was a little annoyed because people had all these little things in their phone and they're scanning books and then like they're just deciding whether this book is worth buying because of how much they can resell it for. And they're not even looking, they don't even know the book. I was a little annoyed by that at the time. I've kind of like moved away from it because I'm like, well, it's just how it is, it's just what it is. It's just the way things are. Okay. No need to slight somebody for doing whatever they do to make a living, right? That's how some people make a living, and that's totally fine. So I didn't like that, but it was just so packed, right? And everybody's scanning stuff. And so, you know, last year, sci-fi was so picked over, there was like nothing. So I just went to the Western section and found some cool stuff. This year, the sci-fi stuff was pretty decent. There was a couple good things I found, but I always go to the Western section because nobody's buying anything out of the Western section. And I found all kinds of stuff. They had all those like leatherette, like Time Life books. They had all those for like $2 a piece or something. I was like, maybe I want these, but I don't know if I have the room for them, so I'm not going to get them. They had a bunch of Louis L'Amour, obviously, and they had a bunch of writers I just didn't know. And that's why I was really excited about Mystery and Mayhem's video, because I was like writing down these writers. Ooh, cool. So yes, library sales to go back is super good. I've seen the folio book editions. Couldn't recall titles. Just quickly checked. Oh yeah, they are always on my phone. Yeah, they are. They really are. Like I said, if you get a sale, cool. I found some really great deals on sales. If you had a one-off novel you wanted, it might be perfect. I don't know. I mean, to me, it was like, this is a favorite book of mine. Okay. But I don't know that I would just be like, oh, I want to read this book. Like, I think we were talking about reading Mythago Wood by Robert Holdstock, and like a month or so ago, they released I think it was a folio edition of it. I'm like, oh, how much is this? Oh, never mind. Oh, never mind. I'm not going to pay that. I think it was folio that released it. It was too much. I was like, I can't afford this. It might have had I don't know if it was signed. Was it signed? Is Holstock still alive? I think he is. But it was just too much. It was too rich for my blood, as they say. Oh yes, and Rob from L Space. By the way, the video where you went to the store and you did the whole thing, you're talking about like Nick, was it Nikki? What was it, Nikki something? What were you call it, Nick? I just loved it. It was so good, and you kept it the whole time. I don't know how you managed to maintain the persona the whole time. It was so good. It was so good. You're just knocking it out of the park every time. By the way, every time, it's awesome. Hydropulse indeed. Yeah, he bought up a whole bunch of stuff from the store. It was awesome. The second book is amazing. We're talking about the Earthsea. Just fantastic. Just saying hello. 80. Oh, 80 is high. I don't know. Maybe. I might be doing a thing with just like Chris just talked about, where he went over to Wheel of Genre and they're reading through that Jeff and Ann Vandermeer book of weird tales, or I think it's just Weird Tales, edited by Jeff and Ann Vandermeer. And they said, "Oh, maybe you want to come over." And I said, "Yes." Bob said, "You would?" I said, "I totally would want to come on and read one with you guys." So that's going to happen. Hoping. And I can't say it's going to happen until it does, or something like that. But that particular book is in paper is massive, right? It's bigger than this in paperback. It's about this size in paperback, like this direction, not thick, height and width, but not depth. And it has just got amazing stuff in it. And I have the paperback edition. Actually, I just sent a copy to my sister because I was talking about it. My mom read a story or 2 hours. She goes, "Oh, can we send this to my sister?" I said, "Yes." I just sent a copy to her, and I think I'm going to buy the hardback. I would really recommend getting that book. That book is amazing. I totally want the Weird Tales, but 80 is tough. It'd have to be a beast for me. And then it's kind of like, am I going to read it if it's that big? It's so big. I don't know, but I love, I'm getting so Weird Tale stuff is just like magic for me, right? It's like comfort food almost, but it's the equivalent of comfort food for reading. So Chris manifesting with magic. Do you have any, oh, for me, no, I do not. Actually, this is, I think we're talking about the same publisher who did the Gene Wolfe nonfiction books, right? Like Castle the Otter and that stuff. I think that was Zizing. Ooh, you know what? Right here. I'm terrible at pronunciation, by the way. If you didn't know that, now you know. They've got, yeah, so they did the publisher. I did go to that website and they've got some great stuff in there. I actually want to buy a couple things from that website, but I do not think I have anything published directly by him or by them. I don't know. I don't know that I do. They did have some really great older Gene Wolfe publications that are, some of them are signed or limited edition, and they were really tempting. And I was like, oh no, I can't do it. I can't make myself do it. I have like a weird price threshold in my head, and it's like I can like up to a certain dollar amount, and it's a bit nebulous, but a certain dollar amount, it's like, okay, whatever, sure. And then after that, it's sort of like, ooh, and like I beat myself up if I do it. I'm like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. You should have done this. Okay. So I don't, but that said, now long way of saying they did have a few things on that site that were great. I actually would have ordered something, but I'm kind of like perusing the whole site slowly so I can make one larger order, which is what I usually do. I always want to do that because to save on shipping. So I usually want to spend like over a certain dollar amount when I order from a publisher like that to sort of save on shipping. So I'm always like, well, I'll allot myself this much money and then just see what you can find. So I definitely want to get some stuff by them. I think Chris did that video about the Castle the Otter book, and someone commented there about it, and I was like, oh, I missed the comment, but Chris called me and told me about it. It was super cool. So that's his story to tell, not mine. Surely he must. I have yet to learn that. So ridiculously lucky. Yes, and yes, hi to Mrs. L Space. That's right, Mrs. L Space, which was great. Those comments were fantastic. Our library has a section where they sell paperbacks for $1 and hardbacks for $2, plus clearance section for 10 cents. Yes, that's about what the library sale normally is. The Friends of the Library sale. So some of it is books that are like decommissioned, and I think they take donations throughout the year and they just save it. And there's let me think. There was probably 30 or 40 tables or something. I don't know how. It's like a venue that you would have a concert at, right? And that's where they have this at every year now. They used to have a convention center. They used to do it at a convention center, but I think it became too big for that. So now they do it this like concert venue. And they do it once a year. And it's always like I forget to renew my membership. So we had to renew our membership at the last minute. And then they're like, well, you probably should renew it at the actual event, because if you do it now, there's no guarantee you're going to get in because it may not register. So we had to wait for everyone else to go in before we got to go in, which was like, seriously, the doors open and it was 30 minutes later before people had finally filed all the way in. It's like a constant stream of people. It was nuts. Plus, I go to a lot of, yes, Chris does go to a lot of yard sale and estate sales. Something I need to do more of too. I talked to my oldest daughter, who's the only one of my my small children who will read. Right, the other one's like, "Oh, I like reading." I'm like, "Oh, you want to read this?" No. Although I will say, my youngest is reading. Wanted to read Dean Koontz's Intensity. Um, my youngest is a junior in high school, so it's not that young. But yeah, that's the only reading that one. But my oldest daughter is will actually read stuff, right? So she went to the library say with me, and so we talked about maybe doing some thrifting. And we're like, yeah, maybe we would. It's sort of like finding the time. They're back in school now, and it's very busy. She's got some classes that go till super late. So like she goes to school, she's there like almost. It feels like she's at school for like almost 12 hours or something crazy because of how spaced out her classes are. But anyhow, neither here nor there. Do you have any pointers? Yeah, that would be good. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I would find them. I guess I would go to like look on Marketplace or something, or maybe you do. Is Craigslist still a thing? I'm sure it is, but I don't know. I don't know how you do it. I guess maybe you just sort of drive around and look. Just always out there patrolling, right? Richard, what's going on? It's good to see you. May have to, may have to. It was pretty cool. There was some good stuff that we found. I've got more. I just worry about perpetuating this too long. We'll see. I don't know. Um, yeah, I don't know if I want to start grabbing just anything because I have so many things that I'm trying to book haul still that I don't know. I don't know if I want to. It's a lot. I could keep going though. And honestly, not as many as I thought, but I could do more. The weird compendium. I think is this okay? This is what we're talking about, the Folio Society one, right? Yeah. Under the children, yes. Have the children? That is an important question. Did you really feed them or not? We wanted you to know. Oh, we did a lot of King books as well. Oh, that's very interesting. He's overhauling. Yeah, I like that. I find libraries. Yeah, isn't it is kind of a bummer sometimes, right? To see that the library has had this amazing book and then no one checked it out. I almost feel bad. I mean, like for a while, whenever I'd see a Gene Wolfe book, I'd just buy it, even if I already had it, because I feel like I'd give it away or something. And then I felt bad because I thought, am I just keeping? Maybe somebody else would discover that this writer, discover Gene Wolfe or whoever, if I had left this book there and I just buy it up and hoard it like some kind of weird book dragon or something. And I don't know if that's really the right. Like, so then I kind of like sort of felt like, oh man, I kind of thought about my life and my choices, and like maybe I'm creating the problem that I complain about. Nobody's reading. He's a good dad. He fed them. Good job. Through Craigslist. Okay, so it's the Craigslist thing. Did they grow up on? No, they didn't. I don't really know. I'm trying to think what any of them liked. What did they like when they were growing up? I don't know. I don't know. They would always read you know what they, okay. No, I take it back. I do know what they're into. They're into like Minecraft books, like Minecraft novelizations. Probably that's why they hate reading. That's the only thing they would read. Dad, can I have this Minecraft book? Yes, you can have this Minecraft book. Fine. Okay. Vampire, this myth that I'm a vampire. So I work nights. This is why Chris is always calling me a vampire, right? So I do tend to sleep during the day. I'm very sleepy at a certain in the morning, right? Is like my midnight. So, but I do get exposed to sunlight. I do. It's just the afternoon sunlight. Um, it should have been my channel name. I sometimes wonder about my channel name. I'm like, should I have changed it? I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do it. I mean, then nobody will know who I am anymore. But it was kind of like a joke. It was totally a joke. I was like, I started originally as like a podcast, and it was like, what should we call it? I'm like, we'll call it Literally Books because we literally talk about books, So that was kind of it. And she was like, and I'm like, okay, done. That part was easy, and nobody had it. And I thought, well, this is a great play on words. Nobody has it. There is another Literally Books, by the way. If you look, there is another Literally Books channel. Their channel is @ Literally Books, right? So if you're going and you see a Literally Books channel and it's two intelligent women talking about books, it's not me. FYI. I don't know. They it seems like they're very into modern fantasy and everything. It seems like and very much what I would think of as a more traditional booktube channel. More power to them. I might go over there and comment sometime and just be like, "Hey, channel buddy, channel name buddies, what's up?" But I don't want to feel like I'm going over there and like trolling them or something weird like that because I'm not interested in that stuff. Come on, Chris, spot no, no, if Jake Pope spot in. You want you to spot him, spot me. My, wait. You're supposed to put that comment first, can't you? It is how you work nights. That's pretty good. Yeah, I've worked night shift. Ooh, how long has it been? It's been so long. Let me think. I have worked night shift overnight, I should say. To be sure, I've worked that since when? I would say since 2009 or so. Not really because I liked it, but just because it made sense for life, right? For various things that were going on during the week. It just made sense. Doctor's appointments and stuff with the kids, right? Um, and then I went and did weekends only for a long time. I did that for about 5 years, just so I could take care of the kids, right? And that worked out great. And then I went to what they call a alternative work schedule, right? Which is a weird 2 week rotation, right? That I'm sure made Chris have a headache every time he tried to schedule something with me. I'm still on night shift, by the way. And then more recently, I went back to just nights, or just night. I'm sorry, just nights, just weekends. So now I work every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and that's my shift, which isn't bad. I mean, weekends never made a big deal to me, unless it's something with the kids. But I get lots of vacation at work, lots of vacation and lots of personal time and floating holidays and stuff like that. So it's easy to get off if I need to. My workplace is actually awesome. Actually, I really can't complain about my work at all. No work is perfect, but I really do enjoy the place where I work. If you could say that you enjoy it, I think. Two women say yes. These are facts. often, often that mistake has been made. I am not. It is true. Another vampire. We can start a whole thing. Of that new fantasy manga Tower Dungeon. Tower Dungeon. Tower Dungeon. This sounds familiar. Fantasy manga Tower Dungeon. I don't know that I have, Tim. Tell me a little bit more about it. I might have, but I'm not sure. I just realized I talked for 2 hours and didn't take a drink. I'm a habitual water drinker, right? To almost to a fault. I drink way too much water. In the 90s, I worked at the desk until midnight, but it was usually quiet the last hour. I remember reading King's Desperation. I love the book, but it seems like not too many others do. I've never read Desperation. The last Stephen King book that I can remember reading, I don't know if it's the last one. The last one that I really remember, we'll put it like that, was Dermakey. And I think Jake and I have talked about this a little bit. It's one of my absolute favorite Stephen King books, right? I really enjoyed it. It may not be for everyone, but I really enjoyed it. I don't know if it's very typical for King, really. It's sort of the newer King, like post-accident, right? And obviously, I think I'm not the only person who have said that his fiction has changed a bit at post-accident. But I really liked it. It was in part because I really liked what King did, and in part because it was a book that I needed to read when I needed to read it. Very similar to the experience I had with Harlan Ellison's Angry Candy. It was a book I needed to read. It was very cathartic. It sort of like really, how could you say, really sort of justified my feelings about what was going on in my life at that time. So really great book, Dermakey. Do I actually own a copy of Dermakey? I say this. I may not. I don't think I do. Isn't that weird? No, you can't own them all. I mean, it's one of those things. Yes. Dermakey. We're all, you know what? We're all over the place today. I've already said this. There's something going on. Somebody did something with spell check. I think they got AI doing spell check now or something like a worse AI. Because I've just noticed that like it didn't used to do this, but it seems like it's like the spell check and like the little thing has gotten worse. So I blame computers and technology, not me. No, I'm not the one doing anything wrong. It's them for sure. But no, Dermakey was great. It was a really great book, worth finding. Oh, I'm jumped a comment. I'm sorry. Yeah, that new phase after that. Huh. And that's weird. I've never read Bag of Bones. Somebody, was it Mike's book reviews, said something about how he thought Bag of Bones was really good or something. Ooh, I could be misquoting him because I was like, or was it Bag of Bones? He said some King book that I had never read was just really good. And it was not one that I heard many people talk about. I thought, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Maybe sometime. But I mean, here it didn't work for you. I'm sorry to hear that. It depends. There's definitely I think that older King, the stuff from the King from the 70s and like the early 80s is almost like universally good horror. Like even though it's sometimes long-winded, some of that early King is just like it almost doesn't matter who you are, you're gonna like it. It's gonna be good as long as you like horror. But the later stuff, I think he starts to, I guess, make decisions with his fiction that could to go a certain way and it doesn't work for everybody. Could be something like that. I know. I read his On Writing, and he was talking up this book from a Buick 8 and that book, I think. And I'm like, oh man, this is going to be great. And I read that book and I did not like that book. I was like, I did not like From a Buick 8. I did not think that was a good use of my time. I'm not going to say I regret the experience, but I certainly don't, and I would not repeat it. We'll put it like that. It's written by the same guy who did Blame. Oh. Yes, 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 yes. Blame. Is the guy who did Blame, help me here, is the guy who did Blame the same one who did, and I don't have, Biomecha? Is it same guy who did Biomecha? Boy, can you read that? Same one? Same writer? I think that's true. I think I remember hearing about this. Now that you say that, that's why I was like kind of like, maybe. Not sure. Let me know. Cathartic. Yes, it was. I found it very cathartic. I think if anyone, let's put it like this. We'll say this and we'll make it very concise. Anyone who's experienced a loss of some kind might want to read Dermakey. I think that you will find catharsis in that read. He says he believes so. Yeah, I agree. I did like it was so neat to finally hear him talk about himself. And maybe he'd done that elsewhere before or something. I'm not sure, but it was just so good. It was just so I haven't read that book in a very long time. I think I still have my hardcover copy because I got it when it came out. Ooh. But you know what? It's not over there because I moved it to nonfiction. Um, um, but it was just so good. It really was. It was so good that I didn't read anything else on writing advice for a long time, maybe to my own fault. Definitely to my own fault. But it was just so amazing. It was such a great book. And it really still is. Anybody every time we bring up Stephen King, we talk a little bit about writing advice. Somebody says On Writing was amazing. So that magic translates to other people. Other people have read that book and felt the same way. I agree. Um, it's just a powerhouse too, and just pounding him out, and still. Now, my wife still reads all of his more recent series. I don't know if they all show up. Maybe not. Oh, they may not be down here. But she's still reading all of his more recent stuff. A new King book comes out. I usually order it for her. Just sort of like just like, okay, I'll pre-order it. Sure, let's go ahead and take it. And she's reading them, and she really enjoys them. I haven't read them. Not that I have a problem with Stephen King. It's just that I'm reading. I've all this other stuff to read, but yeah. So she's still reading. So he's still doing good stuff. Still doing writing that people like, which is pretty cool. The last King I read was Revival and Cell, and I was like, oh. I never read Revival. I did read Cell. I remember thinking Cell was cool, although I don't know that I love the back half of Cell as much. I don't remember if I'm not saying I didn't like it, but I don't remember. I only remember the first 2/3, and I don't really remember what happened later. So I don't know if it was just sort of a more relaxed or less eventful read. I'm not sure, but I don't know. That I did read that. I read that. I also read Lisi's story, which I liked but didn't love. Um, very similar idea in a sense as Dermaki, I mean, not obviously not horror wise, but a book about loss. Um, and I think that Dermaki did it better. I think Dermody like captured that fire that King had, about that anger that he had, and it really made me feel at a time when I was feeling upset. It really made me feel like it was justified and it was okay, and but that I didn't have to express it in a that there was a way to like that reading experience allowed me to was like a venting almost. It was strange. Really, really recommend it. I mean, does that sound like I'm recommending it? When I say like it's a good way to vent, like I don't know if I'm selling it very well, but that's what the intent is. Grammaticus, what's going on? He just got here by the way with you guys. Thank you very much. It was very much a thing. I don't remember what happened, but I was like, if I don't order that stupid little tripod, which is just a stupid little tripod, like $19 from Amazon, if I don't do that, I'm going to keep regretting it. And it's like a whole door got opened up for me because I have so many like art books and stuff like that, RPGs and just books that are cool to look at that I want to show off, that I hate doing this all the time too. Just because it just isn't, the camera starts getting weird and it's always never quite in focus. And so it's really great to hear that people are enjoying it. Really great to hear people enjoy it. Thanks for coming. Thanks so much, by the way, for coming out here. So surprised before watching this. Well, I think the only difference is that you're kind of like you were wondering how I put myself in the corner, and that's it. I thought you're the one that you did, which is I think the first one on that Horror Illustrator, was really great. It was really really good. And honestly, it was. I don't know how I do it live, right? I think I'd have to like add my camera as another contributor or something weird. I don't even know how I do it, but to record it wasn't bad. I just recorded two separate videos at the same time and then just sort of like use the audio and recorded audio for both and use the audio to sync the two videos together. And that was it. And I just made one like a picture in picture. Like that's the secret to my success for what it's worth. Yeah, I think so. I don't think Stephen King was as candid. I think it was so interesting because it really did feel like at the time, like I was finding out, like I was having a conversation with him or something. It was so weird. It was such really interesting energy. And I remember too, there was like a writing contest that happened either from as a result of that book or something. There was some sort of a writing contest that he put out, and I was really interested in trying. Um, it was like he said something about a pot of boiling water, something about a pot of boiling water. That was like the story, like inspiration. Like here's your, kind of like a writing exercise that we would do like when I was in high school. A teacher would say, write a story about this, and then that was the idea that Stephen King said, a story about a pot of boiling, I think it was something like a pot of boiling water or something like that, something along those lines, and different stories. And I remember reading some of the stories at the time. I don't know if anybody ever came, I don't know if those writers that were as part of that ever did anything else. It'd be interesting to know that, but I never did follow them. My sister buys me a new King every year from a birthday, and then I take fair enough. I like that you're honest. I love that you're honest. That's fantastic. A later phase King story called "The Man in the Black Suit" is one of his best, in my opinion. Highly recommended. Is this one of the short stories? Is that from Everything's Eventual? That sounds like it is. I remember there's so interested parties might not know or should know, if you like the Dark Tower series, Everything Eventual has a Stephen King Gunslinger short story in it that's really good. If you want, I think, a really good sample, if you want to try and read the Dark Tower, read that short story. It's called The Sisters of Elysia, something like that. What is it called? Little Sisters. Oh boy, I can't remember. The Little Sisters Allura, yeah. Not very long. It's showing it's from page 145 to 211 from Everything's Eventual. Is this, well, I guess since I had it open to the table of contents, I could answer my own question. Yes, it is in this book. So, two reasons to go buy this Stephen King book of short stories, right? I remember there being a couple of short stories in here that were really good. So, I guess, I don't know if this is the last King. Well, the last King novel I read was Dermot King. We're just going to leave it there because I don't know what else to say. Da, da, da. Plagiarizing himself at the stand. Oh, King. Okay. Sell was King plagiarizing himself at the stand. Yes. True. I think this, and The Stand is such an interesting book too. My first experience with The Stand was the made-for-TV movie, which is equal parts absolutely amazing and kind of cheesy, but I really like those Stephen King made-for-TV movies. The Stand is such an interesting thing because in some ways it works so good that it is like almost among his best, and in other ways it really falls short. Right? Isn't there something really weird? What happens at the end of this? Ooh, am I asking for spoilers? What is it that happens at the end of The Stand? Is it a Deus Ex Machina that happens at the end of The Stand? I think it is. And it reminds me of a story. I think he told this. Did he tell the story on writing, or is it in Don's Macabre, where he talks about how the guys from the first Star Trek movie, they came to Stephen King to write the plot, and he said something like, they fly out to the very edge of space and there's a wall and they blast on the wall and the other side of the wall is God. It was like, oh, I bet that didn't go over well. I think he said something like, oh, they didn't contact him again or something like that. I don't remember. I just remember that story. Anyhow, anecdote. Portmore, you didn't like the concept of the cell. I thought the concept of cell was super cool. That it was super cool, very relevant. I don't remember if it paid off as good at the end. So there's that. So I think, there's a certain magic in The Stand that maybe is kind of 80s-ish, but and maybe I'm thinking more the movie in a sense, but there's a certain kind of old school King magic in The Stand. I don't know whether it's worth reading to find an abridged edition of The Stand, because originally it was abridged. I think it was abridged because they there was a certain size paperback that they could print because the paperbacks were huge. There was a certain size and over a certain page count. I think Stephen King said this, like it got exponentially more expensive to print and it wasn't worth it. So they abridged it, but then people wanted it so much, or King insisted that they eventually published it unabridged. And then it was so big that I think even brand new, like the spine was curved a little bit or something. I kind of remember that. Which is crazy. So I don't know. Hot take indeed. Brian's got all the hot takes. He's nothing but hot takes. He's got like a hot take oven all day long. That's nothing but hot takes. Everybody's taking a bite of Brian's hot takes here. I'm not reading ahead, and I love that this is the comment train. He doesn't want to die in that hole. Oh my God, I love it. I love it. The typos continue. Don't want to die in that hole. I like it. Keep it. I'm dying in that hole. I don't want to die in that hole either. Constance, hello. Thank you so much for showing up. It's awesome to see you. Richard saying hello. Now I know how to pronounce the Y. Spell check is definitely good. No worries, Tim. Tim, that's now your official spelling. I think it's perfect. I would change my name if I was Tim. I would change my name to Team. To time. It's like your time. You know what? Put an E on the end of that too. Tyme. Put it on there. Oh, how do you? Is your time? No, Tim. The E is silent. Yes, thank you for. Yes, you guys you can spell things wrong. I'll just say them wrong. It's just easier that way. Yeah. Yes, the Dark Tower story. So that we already did. I'm buying again. So Andrea, tell me, is it because you are not interested in that? Is it like this is a wall that you've built up like a Pink Floyd psychic wall to avoid reading King, or is it that you're just not interested? I think you would really like some of his stuff, especially early short stories. I think you would very much enjoy early short stories. Novels, take them or leave them, whatever you want to do. His early short stories, like from Skeleton Crew and the other early short story collection, are really good. There's some real gems in there. Really are. So that's my opinion. But don't let me we're not trying to get you to read Stephen King if you don't want to. Tyler is right. We're a entirely different group. 24 people watching. It's mind-boggling to me. Or one of those words that I didn't say. Isn't this the best night ever? Thank you everybody for showing up too, by the way. Bunch of anyways. It's Solomon Kane. Now that's a good Tim, that's a hell of a statement. I love Solomon Kane. I have not, was it Michael K. Vaughan was talking about that later Howard character who's all just adventure fiction, and I was really getting interested in it. I used to have a Robert E. Howard book that was all like it was some of the like historical fiction of his, but it was in the tradition of those like Del Rey books or something, but it wasn't a Del Rey. Was it Del Rey that did the yeah. It wasn't Del Rey, I don't think, but it was it was very similar to that size and shape, and it had this like Crusader Knight and this I don't know this I don't know who the other, someone in an Arabian garb, but I don't remember who or what the story was. I don't have that collection anymore, but it got me to thinking about those stories and how those are, like, we always talk about the Conan stories and the Solomon Kane stories, but Howard had some other really good stuff that we don't talk about. So anyhow, just that reminded me of that for when you said that. I like how King describes stories something like they are artifacts, physical things that already exist, and he digs them up. Yes, I did like that. As a kid, I wanted to be an archaeologist. So it was like, oh, I wanted to be like a writing archaeologist. Right? Like, oh, it was like a weird connection that I made there, and I loved it. I do like that he discovers it's a really wonderful analogy for the creative process, right? That you don't like it exists here already. It's like in your psyche, and you're just sort of chipping away, like Michelangelo, like chipping away the marble to uncover this thing that you discover. That's I'm mixing my metaphors there. It is a bit like a black hole. Maybe you don't want to. I will say this: if you don't want to read Stephen King, there is so much like visual media out there that has King in it that you don't have to have read anything by him. One of the underappreciated ones is this comic that he did. He did a digital comic. I can't remember what it's called, about this circle of stones that they discover somewhere, and how you have to, like, someone has to keep going and counting these stones so that they don't keep multiplying or something. There's a really great kind of like it's like a comic book, but it's like an audio comic book. So you watch this the story plays out in still images, but it's like a video that you watch and it's narrated, and it was really good. I cannot remember the title of that, but that's totally worth looking for. Is he really powder keg? Hello first. Is that a Kath Kojit cover on for your? I'm not sure. It looks kind of like the cover for Cypher there, which I haven't read. But anyhow, hello very much hello. Thank you very much. We'll add that word in there. See, people have typos. I have speakos. It's the new serial. Anyway, getting back to the comment, Talisman 3. Yes, it is weird. I didn't know that they were making a third Talisman book. That's so fascinating. Talisman, I love Talisman, right? I can't recommend it to anybody who doesn't already like it. I really can't, because it's a bit too long, the first book, a bit too long in the tooth sometimes, but it's just great. I loved the experience of Talisman. And then Black House was also super good. So I'm very interested. I didn't know that he was talking about Talisman 3. I am not up in my King news. My wife doesn't tell me that. She probably already knew. She's not telling me what it is. It is sad, though, that he's going to do it without Peter Straub. It's very unfortunate. We lost Peter Straub like 4 or 5 years ago or something like that. Really unfortunate. I think one of the possible potential stories that we want to read for our Secret Society Read, where we do horror stories with Brian from Bad Taste and Chris from Liminal Spaces, is that magic, that story about like a magician that Peter Straub wrote, which I read and I think Chris will really like. And now, of course, that title eludes me, but it's a really good Peter Straub novel about this young boy and his uncle is like a magician, but it's like, is he really a magician or is there something else going on? Really great book. Take oven. I'm way behind in the comments, probably. Um, yes, 400 pages of the stand were cut because he wasn't well known. Yes, that makes sense. Version Starlight starts the second hour. That's right. I'm going to say I've been talking a long time. My throat is getting dry, but I'm cool. I can keep doing this. Kind of like a coin making It's interesting. I think Chris talked about how Murakami kind of writes the same story over and over again. So maybe there's something in that, like taking an idea and refining it and refining it and refining it and rethinking it. There could be a certain magic in that if you don't do it too much. If you don't do it too much, I'm okay with um, reading certain things, like an idea that maybe existed as a novella or something, and then a writer makes it into a novel, and then both should still exist. I kind of like that idea. I don't, which reminds me that I don't love one thing about the Dark Tower is that Stephen King went back and rewrote the first Dark Tower book. I know it specifically to have it be consistent with the others, and I think that was a mistake. I think he should have said this book isn't consistent, or they should, or I feel like the text should have been like broken and highlighted to show what had changed. I really feel like that should have been the case. I don't like that he went back and like erased parts of his original work and put new stuff in there. I don't like that. I would recommend personally. I prefer the old Michael Whelan cover Dark Tower, which is maybe the best Stephen King cover, in my opinion. I love the very first Gunslinger cover with Michael Whelan. You got the gunslinger in the front and the tower in the background. I love that. I don't think he should have went back and rewrote it, or he should have like included both or something. I really feel like that because I thought it was a mistake. I think it works because it doesn't jive, because it's all bring all these weird elements from all those other stories in together. They shouldn't all jive. They should be kind of jumbled up. I kind of think it makes sense. Could you please change your author name to that? They call me Time. He's a time warrior. He's too popular. Fair enough. Fair enough. You know what? You're not the only person. Somebody else said they won't haven't read any King. I get it. I think was it that reminds me that Nick had said he hasn't read Dashiell Hammett because he's like, oh, he's a big writer. I'm like, oh, Nick, you would love Dashiell Hammett. I think he would really like Dashiell Hammett. I got to get Nick to try a Dashiell Hammett short story at some point. This is too late for him, but that's okay. You can never do. That was a scary story. I don't know. I'll have to let that simmer. I don't have one right off. I don't have one ready to serve at the moment. If I think of it, I'll start doing it. Elborak. Yes. Yes. And it looks really great. Honestly, I really enjoy that Michael K. Vaughan is like so knowledgeable about that stuff, and he'll kind of give a perspective. We kind of have this sort of like, oh, this writer's a certain way. And I do feel like a lot of times Michael K. Vaughan gets you kind of like shakes, talks about it a bit, sort of shakes up that perception of things are a certain way, the way we might look at Howard, and get us to give a fresh look to some of these older writers. I really like that about him. I really like that he does that. I really do. I really appreciate that. Skeleton Crew. What is the big hit from Skeleton Crew? Does anybody remember? What is is Skeleton Crew the one with the mist? Strangely enough, I have not read The Mist, even though I know I would love it. I hope Virgil's story is as good as next. What is it? Oh, you mean the one that we're writing? I hope so too. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like I'm in a good place to finish it. I feel like, um, so we're a bunch of us book two people, Chris, Jake, Nick, Brian, Andrea, News from the Gelling. Is it Jim from News from the Gelling? His book says John, but we call him Jim. Is there? I don't know what. You know what? Anyway, News from the Gelling are all writing in this. I have to remind myself that I'm actually live. I'm not recording. I'm like, don't just deviate and go over here. Sorry. Um, a bunch of us are writing stories for this collection that Jake's going to publish. So I definitely struggled with it because I've never published a full short story before. I've done some microfiction before. I did have a full length, probably maybe borderline novella story that I submitted, and that the publisher, like, it was very touching because they said, we really kind of want to publish your story, but we're not sure, so we're going to have to decline because we're not sure. And it definitely needed a little bit of work. So this is the first thing I've ever written like to completion, and so I'm struggling a bit with it. But Nick's been just great, with some pointers, and also just sort of saying like, "Hey, let's just try and do it this way," or whatever. Being very forgiving as far as the timeline goes and everything. And I think I really appreciate that because it's helping me to get a better story in the end. I think there was some talk in among Chris and Andrea and some others, maybe Jake, talking about their first novel and publishing it. And I kind of want to be in that conversation, but I haven't done anything. So I'm thinking about polishing up that novella thing that I wrote and trying to because it needs work, and trying to put that out there so I can be in the conversation. I don't know if it's really fair, right? I don't know if it's really a fair thing, but it's something I really wanted to write. I really enjoyed it. Um, it's all about tumbleweeds, right? The original idea was a tumbleweed idea, and so I wrote this story about tumbleweeds. I think Brian read it. I don't know why he read the whole thing. It was way too long, but he did read it. It needs work, but he did read it. But I'm really excited about that. I hope my story is as good as Nick's too. I'm not reading anybody else's story until I feel like I have a finished, at least first draft, because I just don't think it's fair for me to read somebody else's stuff until I have something out there for them to read. I believe King stories are great imaginative excursions. Night Shift. Night Shift. Yes. Night Shift is the other one I think I was trying to think of. I think does Night Shift have the Mangler in it? There's a couple of those. I think there's a couple from Night Shift that are just amazing. I really would say if you want to read King, you don't have to read his novels per se. And there's so much media out there that's derived from King, really. But his short stories are totally worth it. Like, does he have a greatest hits? He probably should. He really should. There's some really great King short stories, just like outstanding. Richard Backham, then. Yes. The Long Walk is out now. Jake said that he really liked the movie, I think. I don't remember if I've read The Long Walk or not, so we'll just leave it at that. Bad. Yes. Right on. I thought so, even though I've not read it. Speakos. We're way behind here. Yes. If you could see me now. Oh, if you could see me now, is that oh no, is that the name of the Straub book? No, it's ooh, and I don't own a physical copy of it. So I well, if it occurs to me, it occurs to me. But if I try to look it up, that's a rabbit hole I don't want to go down. It might be mistaken with the Straub. Shadowlands. That's it. Yes, I really like Shadowlands. A really great sort of thing about like magic or magician, right? Magician being like stage magician. Like there's a kind of a weird, like, which one is this? And then also a lot of integration of fairy tales. I really enjoyed that one. I really did. The first time. It could be. It could be, yes, because it was magazine of fantasy and science fiction, I think. Maybe I just kind of liked that it doesn't fit together right. I kind of like that. I think it makes sense. Who is it? I don't know if it, I don't think anybody's listed as an ancestor of Conan's, but I'm not sure. I tell you if I had one. The raft, the mist, the monkey. Yes, the raft is very memorable as well. The monkey, it's been a while, but the monkey is another good one. Ah, The Jaunt, which is a science fiction story, yes, and which will never forget the ending. Also, survivor type about this surgeon stranded on the island. Yes, Jaunt. I have not read. I don't think I know about the Jaunt, but I don't think I've read. Have I read it? Which is I believe, a reference to the by the to is it Bester? Alfred Bester story. Alfred Bester's story. His novel about jaunting, right? That's what they call it. Like people can randomly teleport wherever they think. And all the Star is My Destination, right? Is that right? I think so. Star is My Destination, an absolutely outstanding sci-fi book. Like maybe one of the best science fiction books I've ever read. Right? A very unlikable main character, or somewhat unlikable. Just great. Cull. Okay. Yes, that's right. I think there is a relationship between Cull and Conan, but I don't remember what the relationship is. I think I meant the scary story that Pulp Mortem asked you to tell. Oh, wait, what was it? What? I don't remember. I'm not going back. If I go back, I'll get lost. I'm already lost. Andre, are there werewolves? Yes. Are there werewolves? I don't believe there are. She says no. Not a one. Not a one, but a two. Some of there is that Solomon Kane might be a distant descendant or reincarnation of Conan, but that's not official. I think they should probably not go down on that. Not go all the way on that, because I think they should be separate characters, right? I think it exists. I think there's a sense of like trying to tie everything together, and I think Howard's other stuff is good, but it doesn't have to be connected. So that's me. Tumbleweeds suck. They do, right? And invasive species, by the way, we had this conversation the other day. Tumbleweeds are not native to the United States. They come from Russia. Yes. Yes. Funny enough, that is like a bit of flash fiction that Frederick Brown wrote that's outstanding. He did go back and write a longer piece of fiction attached to that. I recommend reading the flash fiction because although I like Frederick Brown, I don't know that the longer story really worked. It felt a little shoehorned. But I really do. I love that it's got to be like one of the absolute best, like opening lines or two lines in sci-fi, like maybe ever, right? It's like super, super evocative. Granzi Slovo, hello. Thanks for joining. Yes, I am too. But I am holding out until I have something. I feel it's unfair for me to read what somebody else has done if they can't read what I've done. So I'm there. I've submitted like partial works, and there's been some rewrites, but but Jake's been very kind and saying, okay, take a little more time. Dropping their seeds everywhere. Yes, that's true. That's right. When they're tumbling, they're dropping. That my story has nothing to do with tumbling and dropping. Actually, says Quitters Inc. Ooh, very cool. One of my favorite King short stories that I think is a little bit underappreciated. I almost wish he had gone on to make a larger story out of it. Is the 10 o'clock people, right? All about how if you have a certain amount of nicotine in your system, you can sort of see people who as they really are. Very much in the theme of They Live, right? That John Carpenter movie with Roddy Piper. Yeah, very much in that theme. Good stuff. I liked it. Yes, King is my second favorite introduction writer. My first is Harlan Ellison, who I've never read a Harlan Ellison introduction that I wasn't in love with, and King is also very, very good at that. Oh, there we go. Somebody saying I'm repeating what they said. It seems like I already read that comment, but I hadn't. Wrote. See, we're all over. You know what? If you don't have a typo with your response, you need to put one in there. We need them. Yes. So I made a very short video talking about it without getting into it too much. But Harlan Ellison has a short story collection called Angry Candy. And the beginning of that short story collection, he talks about death. Doesn't sound like a very fun subject. It's not a very fun subject. But I thought what Harlan Ellison had to say in that introduction about death and about how it's okay to be upset and how that's good was just beautiful. And it was the other thing that really helped me when I needed it. And I think if you go through any kind of loss, I think it's worth reading. I think those two things are worth reading, right? That introduction to Angry Candy, where Howard Ellison talks about all the people he's lost, right? And over the course of like 5 years, all these big names and smaller names that were personal friends of his, and the loss that he suffered. And then Dermot Keefe from King as well. Both of those are really, really great. And I think they are a good pairing. It's not a very cheery pairing, but I think it's a very, when you need it, I felt when I needed it, it was there. You know, it was the thing I needed to read when I needed to read it. Yes. And there we are talking about Angry Candy. Gollum, what's going on? Yes, that's right. Fogarty did get sued for sounding like himself, right? After he left CCR. Talk about BS. Somehow this also ties into Stephen King because in The Talisman, right, they're listening to Run from the Jungle, right? Isn't the werewolf his friend? I cannot remember the character names now, but in the drive back, he's playing Run from the Jungle or Run in the Jungle. That I think it's a Fogarty song. I don't think it's a CCR song. I think it's a Fogarty song. So anyways, look at me connecting the dots, right? I have thought about it would be fun to sort of play like, what's that old game, like 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon? Like you take a subject and you see like how, like you could probably do Stephen King, right? You could do the same thing as Stephen King. 7 Degrees of Stephen King, like start with something and like connect the dots to Stephen King, right? See how many steps it takes you. 7 steps of whatever that game used to. Do people still talk about that game? Nobody talks about that game. I did. Oh, yes, this is true. This is very true. Yeah, he got sued by the label for sounding like himself, right? For making music that sounded like CCR, which was his music. It's a phenomenal movie. I love that. And of course, if you've seen it, you know. If you haven't seen it, you should go see it because it's worth it. It's both serious and ridiculous at the exact same time. So good. Put on these glasses. I don't want to put on those glasses. It could have been resolved by saying, okay, let me just see them real quick. Nope, I refuse because I am stubborn and you are stubborn and we are going to have a fight about it. Brilliant. Brilliant. I love it. Yes, that's right. It was more of a modern adventure. 6 Degrees of Separation. Yep, the whole Kevin Bacon thing. Totally great thing. The comments are a little dried up. Oh, are drying up. So that's okay. How many we got? So 21. Let's see. We can do this in just a little bit longer. I'm going to show one more thing that I should have done in a book haul. This was one I was kind of excited. So I'm going to show one more book. And I'm going to embarrass myself and I'm not going to try and pronounce this. This looked really interesting. So little information about it. But I found this at a paperback reseller online and picked it up. I'm going to say, I am going to say the title. I'm going to say it wrong. Palimpsests by, who is this by? Carter Schultz and Glenn Harcourt. Let's see if I can get this off of there. Very neuromancer looking cover. Seemed really interesting. Seemed like a really interesting book. The back of this book tells you nothing. It says like, oh, this book is, they enable the palimpsests, if I'm saying that right, which I'm not, enable humankind to see the past through the present. That's about all it says. Then I thought, well, maybe this is a series of short stories. Nope, it's not. It's not. Although it was edited by Terry Carr. So I don't really know. The New Age science fiction. It did not. I remember opening this up and looking at it. It was not short stories. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I don't remember it being wrong. I remember thinking, oh, short stories. Nope. Not short stories. The fight scene they live is 6 minutes. Yeah, it's so over the top. It's so over the top and perfectly executed. Right? Hell Comes to Frog. That's the other movie I need to see. I need to see Hell Comes to Frogtown. Damn it. I keep forgetting about that movie. I keep forgetting to go see that movie. I haven't seen it. Oh. Who wrote that play? Mehmet Durant? Oh, no. You know what? I'm probably missing something. That's okay. Wait a minute. Okay. I'm not reading ahead. Read it. No. Oh, well, thank you, Richard. Maybe you might have saved a portion of my life. No comment. Fair enough. I didn't pay very much for it. So maybe there's a reason. Sometimes those hidden gems are hidden for a reason. It's not a good sign. Oh, fair enough. Emmett Durant. Very funny. Very funny. Oh, let's see. We're at 2.5. We can go a little longer if people really want to. But you're gonna have to ask me something because I don't want to. I have to react now. But otherwise, we could call this. It's fine. I really appreciate so many people sticking around. 20 people. I did not expect that. Oh, 6 to play. Hold on. Starting to play. Interesting. So I didn't know that. Huh. I just knew from the Kevin Bacon game. Is that what the play's about? No, probably not. I'm so uncultured. Yeah, it just seems like you could do that same game with certain writers, right? Just go around and do that same game. How many RPG books do I have in my collection? A lot. That's not a good answer. Let's see. If I were to put them on shelves behind me, let me think. If I were to put just my gaming books in the shelves that you can see, I would probably be able to fill everything you see. I think I'd have to move shelves because they're really tall. So gaming books are always tall, right? So I've probably got, let's see, well, like GURPS alone, right? I've got like 30 GURPS books or something crazy like that. Somebody was selling their collection. I bought it all up, cheap, for better or worse. I do like things about GURPS. I don't know how much I'd ever play it, but I do like things about it. I would guess I have an excess of 100. I have an excess of 150, possibly. When you say book, I'm thinking it could be a box set. It could be, some of them are small things like pamphlets, like those, where is it A5 is the smaller one where it's like the size of this book, right? We got a bunch of stuff like that, like a bunch of lamentation stuff. Actually, I got something in the mail yesterday that I guess I'll do a flip down of. I finally got my copy ordered 5-6 years ago of Demon City by Zach S., a very controversial person in the RPG world, but also very influential. And I will say this, that matters not. It is maybe the single best example of like art and like graphic design that I've ever seen in a book. It's just amazing to flip through, and it's huge. Huge doesn't even describe it. It's like an RPG book. It's a little bigger around than this book, right? A little bit dimensionally wider and taller. About 3/4 of this length, of this depth, maybe even a little more than that. It's massive. So it looks really good. I would like to do a camera down on that. Oh, how many systems? A lot. So I really am into OSR stuff. So the only OSR I don't have is the what's the big one that everybody went, that's very much like BX. Anyways, the huge one that everybody loves, and it looks really great. I just don't have a copy of it. I'll have to order it at some point. Although I'm kind of like, do I need to order it? So I've got, I don't know. We've got Lamentations, Castle and Crusades. I have the Fred Menser red box, blue box. I've got the I picked up the old BX, right, which is Dr. Who is it? Who's the guy who wrote the original BX, which actually I really love. There's a channel. What's that guy's name? Oh, it was a channel where he did a bunch of BX stuff, videos that are just great. Something Keep. Oh, well, I won't remember it. He did some great. He kind of looks a little bit like Chris, a little bit. I'm going to say tiny bit about Chris. He got me into that, and I really like those just old school. I almost thought I had a name there. Stuff. Anyways, GURPS for sure. Let's see, what else have I got? a bunch of strange and obscure stuff as well. I've got like some old stuff, a bunch of Stormbringer stuff, a little bit of the like leather versions of Hackmaster, which I probably would never play, but I think are neat. Not to mention like tabletop stuff, like tabletop war game stuff. Lots of gaming systems. I don't know. I'm just going to guess maybe 30, probably more than 30, probably more. I don't. At some point, you don't really buy them because you think you're going to play them. Buy them for reference or or just because you think they're neat. I bought one called what was it called? It's some weird. Well, it's over here somewhere. Some weird thing called Nubaru. Nubaru, this weird, like one-off RPG called Nubaru. All about this giant like generation ship. And except the generation ship is somehow circular, and like the farther in you go to the generation ship, the heavier the gravity is. And so there's weird creatures that live closer to the interior. And then the farther out you go, the more like colder and a different like set of creatures live in there. It's gone on so long that people don't even know that they're in a generation ship anymore. Really, I think there's like some sort of weird Egyptian like mythology kind of slightly mixed in with it. Really great evocative stuff, but mostly for ideas. Mostly for ideas. I don't know that I would ever play that. I did play a random like thing with my kids one time I called Pod World. And we just were like playing, and I was just making stuff up as we went. And I was like, well, I'm gonna try to open this door. I'm like, well, we're roll a 20-sided die. And they're like, oh, I got this. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, all right. And then I like made them make their characteristics up as they rolled. If they rolled high enough, I'm like, okay, so now you have door opening skill at 18. If you can roll an 18 or better, you can do it. It was a lot of fun. And I was like, oh, we got to play more Pod World. I'm like, I didn't know what I was doing. I was making it up. My earliest RPG gaming book, that was Frank Mincer's Red Box, for sure. If to me, that is like, how do I play? What is a role-playing game and how do I play it? I feel like that was the best introduction ever to what RPGs are. I don't think a lot of modern RPGs maybe do it as well. It's very much like you have to find somebody who already knows how to play it to like sell it to you, and that's possibly a mixed experience. That Menser box set should be enshrined in gold. It should be taught in schools in a sense. I mean, the concept of gaming and how taking on this role-playing game and how the game works and everything, and a little like sort of like choose your own adventure sort of thing included in that box is perfect in every single way. I read that and was like, never looked back. Only had the red box forever and ever and ever. And so I finally got the rules cyclopedia much later, which had all the cool rules and stuff and monsters and everything, but had none of the evocative art and text that the Menser edition had. So still prefer that one. Oh, I missed a comment. I'm sorry. I Googled John 6 degrees. Oh, okay. I'm going to have to check this out. Thank you very much, Constance. What do you think of Morkborg graphic design? I think I love the graphic design. I really think it's super cool. I don't own Morkborg. I really like that it sort of became like a core system. So it's like you got this core rule set and people do riffs on it. I just think that's an awesome trend in RPGs right now. For the past few years, I really, really like it. I do. So I really do like that. I really do like it. I don't own a copy of Morkborg, but I really do like it. The two like little, what I think of like more indie games that I really like. I like Ben's, what do we call it here? Knave, right? Questing Beast. His Knave, I actually really like that. I like the way magic works in that system where you just roll like you just like roll in these two D100 charts and it makes your spell up and you just have to decide what that spell is, like right there, you and the DM. Just love that idea. And then I like what is that? Troika. I think that one's really cool too, with all the really weird little things going on. Although I've heard some really great stuff about Bastion Lands. I'm super interested in that. You play a knight, you don't know what kind of knight you're going to play, and you have all these, like half the book is knights and half the book is like what you're going to encounter, like the myth, and like you populate the map. And I just watched Quinn's Quest, right? Quinn from formerly of Shut Up and Sit Down, the board game channel. Just watched a thing with him the other day. It's not a new video about Bastion Lands. I was like, oh, I think I need to get this. Do I need to get it? I don't know, but I'm going to get it. Gerald Mulvey. Is this you probably reference it? I bet I missed something. Well, remind me. Power World. It was like this weird spaceship, and it was like they came out of this pod, like this pod opened. And it's like, all right, what do you want to do? Well, I want to do this other thing, and then like weird stuff happened. I think my youngest got turned into a like fought this weird blob or something that was going around and fought it, and it like got on her and turned her into a blob. And I'm like, okay, now you're a blob thing, and like you have a 17 in bloop skills, and she's like, oh, and she wrote it down. It's like super excited. It's like, what do I got to do? I'm like, I don't know. I guess we'll find out when it happens. Very much fun. Most fun we've ever had playing is when we just randomly come up with stuff. We just randomly do things. Um, I had one adventure one time, and I was like, okay, you guys are in town, and there's this pickle jar in the middle of the town that nobody can open. And it said, whoever can open this pickle jar will be the pickle master. And there's a whole thing about trying to get this. And so they had to go find, there's this one guy who could open the pickle jar. They have to go on this quest to find this guy. It was super silly, and I made it up the whole time. They were laughing so hard. It was so much fun. It's so much fun to play like that. It's just kind of hard, you know. It's kind of hard to get too zany too long. It's like eventually it's sort of like, well, you have to have a little more structure. So I don't know how sustainable it is, but if as a one-off, we had a hell of a time with it. I don't recall if you mentioned Philip K. Dick. Yes, I do like Philip K. Dick. Interesting story. I read a bunch of Philip K. Dick early 2000s, early 2000, like 2005 up to like 2005, 2006. And I read something. Of his and was just okay with it. And it might have been my immaturity as a reader, or maybe it was just not an okay book. But it was it. I want to say it was "Flow My Tears." The policeman said, but it might have been something else. And I just kind of felt lackluster about it and didn't read anything of his for a while. But I really enjoyed. Is it the what is that series? Oh, I think I've got it. Let's see. I've got some Philip K. Dick over here somewhere. What are the two? Well, I pulled them off the shelf the other day because I was talking with Bob about cover design, and Bob from Wheel of Genre. Valis is the book. I really like that, and it was like, oh, this might be a thing to do your covers with his little paperbacks he was printing. Valis, I really, really like Valis, and the sequel, which I think is Divine Invasion. I really like those. Philip K. Dick, sometimes I love Philip K. Dick's ideas. His ideas are like knock you out of the park. Not just the ball, but you too. You go with it. Just love it. Sometimes the action is very low. Like not a lot. The ideas are amazing, but not a lot happens. And as a younger viewer, I had a difficulty bridging the not a lot happens when we're sort of talking about the idea, but maybe not as a lot is happening. Maybe that's a characteristic of only of a few of his novels. I'm not sure. I recently picked up the third Valis book, or the third book in that Valis series, which is not called the Valis series, to read because I really did like those first two. I really like his ideas. I need to read some of these books that Chris has read of his that I haven't read, because I really like it. Interesting though, the thing I started with the interesting part was that somebody in an interview asked Gmo if he thought Philip K. Dick was overrated, and he said yes. So I subscribed. I thought, oh, he's probably, you know what Gmo said, he probably is overrated. Now, I don't know. I don't remember the context of that. I don't know anything about that. Don't go hating anybody on that. I don't know. But for a while, I just didn't read any Philip K. Dick because I had other stuff to read. But I'm super interested in like Ubik and another Dick book that Chris has talked about, whose name eludes me. And I like some of the other stuff that he's written. So I do like Philip K. Dick, but I did go through a period where I didn't read anything. I've never read any of his short stories, though. Never, which is surprising. I'm going to go back. I mean, oh, I must have said something because the comic came out. Everybody's like, yeah. Sorry if I upset you. I do like Philip K. Dick. Anyhow, the guy who wrote the original, who is the original BX writer? I cannot remember the Doctor something. Really great. Really. Actually, that series, those books I have, but they're upstairs. So, but Menser did the second version. He wrote the Beckme series, right? So it's basic, expert, companion. I don't remember. Master, something. Anyway, Beckme. Menser did the Beckme series, which is like the 5 boxes, right? But I I can't remember who it was that wrote the BX stuff, and the BX stuff is really good, really really good rule set. Very basic rule set, kind of harshly basic, right? You're like it almost makes you role play because there's nothing else going on. Like your character is like you can swing a sword. There's like you don't have anything on your character sheet to say I want to do this thing. You just like, well, what do you want to do? Oh, you have to be creative, right? And that's where the real magic in gaming is when you have to sort of like, I want to try this thing. Okay, let's try it. That's where the real magic in gaming is, not in the rules. The Pickle Master for sure. Not a fan. Not a fan of Morph work though. Full pages with minimal info. I've got Shrek is super weird. Youngsu the Purple Lands. Yes, I have Purple Lands too. My ship someday. Oh wait, maybe I might have the old print on demand version of the. Oh wait, am I thinking of the same thing? Am I thinking of the same thing? I'm not sure if I am. Rookie is super weird. I like Knave. Those are really good one-offs. Yes, sometimes some of the Morkborg stuff. I think the design is definitely the attraction, but we should remember too that the function of the book is to facilitate the playing of the game, right? The function of the book is to facilitate you playing, not for you to go, ooh, neat. So if it's evocative, it's good, but I do feel like it's important to make sure that the information you need is like concise and easy to access, so that if you need something real quick, you can get it. You can inspire me too, but make sure I have that information available. Oh, okay. Well, now listen. Now this book. Now this is a read from more than 20 years ago, right? And I don't know. I don't know what headspace I was in, right? So there's not to say that the book is not good, only that at the time I remember that's one of the last novels I read, and I remember feeling kind of like underwhelmed, but that might be because I wanted a certain thing and it wasn't that thing, and I just kept reading. And instead of sort of saying maybe I need to wait on this book and save it for when I'm in the mood, so maybe I should give it a try. Should I give it a try? Well, see, now so many people make me feel bad. I'll have to give it a try. I still own it. Right? I didn't even get rid of it. But I don't remember anything about it, and that's the truth. I don't remember anything about it. I just remember at some point kind of saying, and moving on to other writers. But really, there was some magic in Valis, and there was some big magic in Divine Invasion. Ooh, good stuff. Big Heart. Hey, by the way, hello. Thanks for showing up. Really appreciate it. Yes, that sounds awesome. Maybe I could time that with you guys. That would be fun. That would be fun. It's a series I've been meaning to go back to and finish the third book for a long time. So it'd be cool. Back and forth, yes. See, you're wrong. I can listen. I never. You'll never hear me say I'm always right. Scrolling down. We're doing our hellos. I love this. I love that this stuff's going on in the chat too, by the way. And also, thank you so much, everybody, for sticking around. What are we, almost 3 hours here? What is this? A literally limitless episode? Yes, I thought. Sister. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Maybe I might miss the comic. Yes, and that was the struggle I had. Is that sometimes there's idea was like would like knock your socks off. We'll say that. I was going to say blow your pants off. I thought that's a weird thing to say. Anyway, but then I went ahead and said it. But amazing idea. Sometimes the idea for me carried me, and sometimes it didn't. And I don't know why it did or didn't. I can only say that I was we're talking 20 years ago, much younger reader. So it might be what I wanted out of an experience I wasn't getting, and that made me get bored when maybe it shouldn't have. So that's probably, I'm much more inclined to think that's what happened. Incomplete thought, perhaps. Did you try Martian Time Slip? I have not tried Martian Time Slip. There's a number of, which ones did I read? I read Valis, Divine Invasion, Scanner Darkly, Flow My Tears, and something else. I've read there's one other novel by Dick that I've read, but I can't remember what it is. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Actually, I've read that twice. I've read that twice. I took a science fiction college course just to sort of like something fun to do, not for actually to get a college credit at one point. And we read it in that class, and that was really cool. Actually, that's how I first encountered Margaret Atwood and somebody else, but we're gonna let that go because I don't remember who. Memorable. Okay. Yes, and I did like Scanner Darkly. I also really like the Richard Linklater movie, A Scanner Darkly with Keanu Reeves. I like even more the movie that was sort of the prototype for that, which is Waking Life, which is also that rotoscoped stuff there. Really good. Three Stigmata is the other one that I need to try. She was memorable. Her vibe lingers. I must be missing something. Okay. That's okay. It's okay. This maybe Alice. Ooh. That's heartbreaking. Okay. I might be missing part of the comment. You know what? I might have skipped over a comment, and if I did, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I think Tom Mulvaney. Yes. Mulvaney? Maybe so. There's two. Is there two of them? I don't remember which edition I have. And again, I can't check because I'll get lost. Can't recall the name. Read it twice. I think I missed part of this conversation. I apologize. I thought it was the best when he was writing in the mid 50s and 60s after that. Yeah. And it could be, and that could be definitely something that's going on there. It could be that I was connecting with some earlier idea. I like the wildness of the idea of Valis. I really should try short stories too. So it could be that, who knows? I already said it. Yeah, I'm in that way. Certain books are meant totally. I have definitely read a book at a time when I shouldn't have. Like I found too that I have to be very careful what I read if I don't feel well, if I'm sick, because that sort of translates into the book. And I've had a couple of really bad reading experiences where I really didn't like something because I was sick when I read it, and that kind of affected the read somehow. So if I'm sick, I don't read anything that I might like. Yeah, maybe I do something else. I go through stuff and kind of slip a favor in an old book of mine that said only Zelani. I did not know about him back then. Had to share. Very cool. Yes, I did like Atwood. We read Oryx and Crake was the one that we read in class, and I really liked it. I really did. I'd never heard of Margaret Atwood before that. That would have been, this would have been like early, like 2004, 2005, something like that, long time ago. Really, really, really liked it. Really liked it. Confessions of a Craft Artist is good. With some straight fiction. Interesting. I've heard of Confessions of a Craft Artist, but don't know anything about it. It's something I need to read more of, it's just one of those things. And maybe that's was kind of the same thing with Andrea and like Stephen King, like, oh, he's super popular, I'm going to read other stuff. Maybe it was that energy. Oh, I don't know. It was just one of those things I wandered away and haven't wandered back yet. Story. Very cool. Could be message from the future. I don't know. Let's see what it says. Oh, don't keep that over. I don't know what it's from. Let's see. This is the copy that I read. This one here, which I was talking with Bob, and he was talking about his little print books, and I'm like, well, maybe do like this kind of tone. I really like this, what they did with these on these dick books. And I like how that came off, like where they invert the colors. Let's see if it says original publication. It says copyright. This edition was 91. Well, it says yes, first vintage edition was 91. Well, that may not be this edition though. Copyright 81. It has. Oh, this is reference to other things in the book. I think it's 81. We're going to go with 81 because I don't want to read the entire copyright page, which is maybe. Oh yeah, because it's referencing. There's other things referenced in the book. So maybe 81. I really like this, and I really liked. I think Divine Invasion, which is like kind of a sequel. Is it a sequel? Kind of. I like the concept, which is super weird, but I don't want to spoil it, so I don't want to say what it is. Essence Small. I really enjoyed Oryx and Crake. I was just like, wow, this is so great. I don't think I read it We didn't read anything by her, but at the same time, around the same time, I read an Octavia Butler story, Bloodchild, and was like, whoa, where has Octavia Butler been my whole life? This is amazing. So I just sort of, I don't know why I connect the two. Octavia Butler is much more sci-fi, whereas Atwood is a little more literary, right? It seems like she's literary writing sci-fi-esque stories, where it feels like Butler is writing sci-fi stories in a literary vein. Is that a weird, maybe I'm making a distinction that doesn't exist. Yes, it was my handwriting. So you knew all this time. It was a message to yourself. Sounds right. Okay. That's right. That's right. It's like we're best friends. Andrea's got some connections, by the way. She doesn't talk about them. She's got some connections. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. I kind of at the time wanted to get all of these printings of Dick's work, but um, those were the lean times for me. For me, sorry. Interesting. Yes, I do like Tanith Lee. Um, you know what's weird about Tanith Lee is I had seen Tanith Lee's stuff for a super long time and thought this is probably something I'm gonna like. But for some reason I thought, oh, but it seems like it might be romance. I probably won't like it, which was wrong. Um, and the first thing I really remember reading by Tanith Lee was a short story called "Bite Me Not" or "Fleur de Fur," I think. About it's sort of like I want to say it's a cross between like a Rapunzel and a vampire story. Whoa, that's a really good story. If you want to try Tanith Lee, I recommend that story. And it's from a collection. And if you've watched me any length of time, you've probably heard me mention this before. It's from the Oxford Book of Fantasy Stories, which I keep thinking must be one of the best fantasy books collection of short stories ever written. By Tom Shipley is the editor. Oxford Book of Fantasy Stories. Dirt cheap. Like you can get it for like $5 on eBay or something. It's got it get like a really wide swath of fantasy, all the way up to like 85. I think the last story in there is a Terry Pratchett story about the Troll Bridge, right? Which, by the way, there's a really great sort of fan-made movie for that Troll Bridge story by Terry Pratchett. It's worth looking for. It was on YouTube at one time. But totally loves Hannah Lee. That was an amazing story. Knight's Master, right? The first book, so good, so good. I don't know if Chris has read it or not. Chris will, Chris finishes it, if he gets past a certain point, he will be like, okay, he'll make a big video, he'll get 10 billion views, right? Oh, by the way, we're going to say this here. The last video Chris released, right? Being crushed by fun with the thumbnail and he's doing the thing, right? Chris has moved out. He's not a booktuber anymore. Now he's like an influencer. That's like an influencer thumbnail, right? He's like, he is transcended to the next level, right? He's leaving us behind. We only had him for a little while, people. Only had him for a little while. Tanith Lee's prose is amazing. Really good. I can't believe that what amazes me is that I went so long and didn't read anything. And I really feel like I was missing out the whole time. I was like, yes, I should. Yes. Chris gave me some Tanith Lee. I have some more Tanith Lee. I want to keep reading. The next one I need to read is Death's Master. I want to kind of try and do some catching up and sort of fill in on a lot of these series that I've started the first book on. Like right now, I'm reading Necroscope Book 2 for Vamp Timber, which I should be able to finish. The second book in the Necroscope series. And you know what? By the way, I'm just going to say here's a little teaser. It's better than the first book, and it's really good. I've read this book, and I haven't read it in years, and I'm like, oh, wow, this is so much fun. Very, very pulpy, very, very B-movie, but like the best. It's like reading the best B-movie ever. It's like really good. So I'm really enjoying it. You know, all the different kinds of vampires, and it's good stuff. So good. I'm going to say this. A better vampire book than Light at the End. Not the dunk on Light at the End, because there was some really great stuff that was happening in that book. But Necroscope book to Vampiri, I think that's how you say it. Whoo is good. Ooh, I like it. What is he? Look down. Okay. Where's it? Lean times. Yes, those were the lean times, right? That was back when I still worked retail, and it was like I'd scrape up every penny. It seemed like it was go to the bookstore, you know. Felt like that sometimes. Felt like choice to well, I can eat something cheap so I can get this book. Yeah, that was totally it. I said it screen. Yes. Well, right. Which you know what? You guys know your right from left. I don't need to show you. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I missed a comment. Reading Dreams of Dark and Light right now. Very good. Interesting. Whose Dreams of Dark and Light by? Or maybe that's Tanith Lee. That would make sense. First reading Lee and stories like fantasy might also let her take on fairy tales. Yes, lots of. She does the dark fairy tale idea very well, which is something I just love. I mean, my favorite horror movie is Suspiria, which is basically a dark fairy tale. And also one of the reasons I like the original The Last Wish, that collection of the Witcher short stories that preceded the novels, or at least for us in English speaking world, is all like dark takes or dark fantasy sort of takes on traditional fairy tales, and it's amazing, just amazing. The show is good. I recommend reading that book if you just kind of like dark fairy tales. Those Witcher stories are outstanding. Flat Earth book clubs. Tanith Lee, just good stuff. I have a couple more Lee books on my reading horizon. One of them is Viva Dark Fantasy. Read some pages, but so immersive and poetic. Yes, I what finally convinced me to read Knight's Master was I picked up randomly a copy of the second of the was it the third or fourth book, Delirium's Mistress, and was reading. I'm like, well, I'm just going to try reading this. So let's see what happens. I don't normally do that. I'm just going to try and read it. I got 10 pages in. I'm like, oh, I really want to keep reading this. And I read in like about 50 pages and was loving it so much. I'm like, okay, I just have to stop. Not because I don't like this book, because I like it too much. I want to go back and get to this book. And the prose is just gorgeous and very creative and evocative. And it's like doing everything right, like checking all the little cool fantasy, dark fantasy boxes. Like, this is so good. I'm really interested in reading that series that Deb talked about, Don't Bite the Sun and something wine. Well, I've already put it away, so I don't know where it is. But those look really good too. Those are sci-fi. Those look really good. And saying hellos. Poor Chris. What did I say about Chris? I don't know. He won't show us. Wait a minute. What did I not show? I've not seen the most recent version of Suspiria. I've seen like the trailer for it. I'm like, oh, this looks like it could be a different take, which is a good choice. I don't think they should try to. I really hope they didn't try to like recreate the original movie, because it's not going to happen. But I haven't seen the new version. I love the old version. I love how Technicolor and like oversaturated everything is in the colors. I love the music by Goblin is so good. It's just such a great experience. I'm not saying it's the best horror movie, but it's a real like maybe my favorite, if that makes sense. Man, I didn't, but my son's allergic to peanuts, so maybe that's why. Oh wait, I missed. Oh really? What should he have? Flat Earth by Lee. Yes. I do. Those have come down. So if you were holding off, which was a smart thing to do, on buying Tanith Lee, especially the flat earth stuff, when she exploded about a year ago, the prices are coming down. I think I think somebody said there's a reprint. Yeah, don't pay unreasonable prices. They're going to come down, right? I think it was just it was like it happened at a time when those books were scarce. So don't pay too much. I did not pay too much. I think I got in under the wire on that one. Oh, show us the flat. Oh, the flat Earth. Oh, I see. Sorry. Let's see. Okay, here we go. I'll catch up. So here is Tales. I think this is the first one. Yes, Lords of. So this is the first volume, which has Knight's Master, Death's Master, and Delusion's Master. Okay, so there's that. like so. And then Knights, and then I read, yes, and then the second volume has Delirium's Mistress and Knight's Sorcery. So this is the first three or four. First three. So book 4, right? Delirium, which is the same thing, same cover, just reversed, right? So Delirium's Mistress is the one that I was reading with, and it's so interesting because it's like she didn't do anything. You could tell she wasn't borrowing any of her ideas from anybody, any fantasy anybody else was writing, right? So anything anybody else was doing, not Tolkien-esque at all, doing her own thing and being super creative with it. There's a really interesting anecdote that she wrote at the beginning of Knight's Master, maybe a more recent publication, where she talks about how the idea came from this word game that she and her mom used to play, and it's like something about that word game generated an idea, and that's an actual bit of text that occurs in Knight's Master. I don't remember what the text is. I can't give details on it, but it was really interesting. And Knight's Master is a masterpiece. I mean, it didn't win the World Fantasy Award. The second book did, Death's Master. And I've read a little bit of Death's Master, but I stopped because I got reading something else. I'll have to go back and reread it. But Knight's Master just could stand alone on its own. It doesn't need any assistance. It's a perfect book, in my opinion. The way that the gods are portrayed, the ending of that book is I think is like fighting for first place in my head for the best fantasy book ending I've ever read, right? The end of the Elric saga, the end of Stormbringer, the end of the series is really, really strong for me. And the end of this very first book, it doesn't help that there's more after it. So it doesn't take anything away, but I think those two are amazing. And maybe Lee edges out Michael Moorcock's ending there just a little bit for me. Maybe the only reason I give him a little more favor to Moorcock is because there's a whole series, and it's like the end of that series, the end of the very end. I don't want to give anything away. But my goodness, the end of Knight's Master was like, I guess you could say it almost took my breath away. Like that, I was like, oh, that was so good. Oh, that was so good. I was like, my goodness. I'm like, she could have wrote nothing else. She technically could have said, I'm never writing another story the rest of my life. It's the only thing we have left of her, and that would be, it should be enshrined. To me, it's that good. Sorry, everybody's like, look behind you. This is like the whole thing where they were saying, go get the bog, Virgil's the bog. Expands the witch lore, not are longer than the original, but I love the original. Yes, the original I love. And I do like the sequel, Inferno, even though I think it has some issues. It has the mood right, but I think the story has a few issues. But I really liked Inferno as well. I tried watching opera, okay, and I was struggling a little bit with it. It's good. It's not because it isn't good. It's because it got me to be a little squeamish, and I was, and I was like, ooh, I don't know if I want to keep watching this. I really liked it. I really liked what it was doing, like objectively, but like in the moment, I was like, kind of like, I don't know if I want to watch this. Right? Because I don't like seeing. I have a difficult time seeing people get harmed. I don't like it. It's not that I can't tolerate it. It makes me sick. It's just that it kind of gets to me somehow. I don't know. Whatever. Yay. Thanks. I don't know. Even I don't even know what I'm doing. Hi, Curtis. How you doing? David Ray's epic day. What's going on? Right. Well, I had a lot of practice, right? We worked out any of the kinks. I should have worked out all the kinks. There's still lots of kinks, but I should have worked them out over in Chris's channel. Still live. Nice. Yes, it's back. Go take it again. I'm here. I'll be here to your next break if you want. You got another break? I'm joking. It's good to have you back. By the way, let me go back real quick. If you join late, Go Man has got this great video. I'm going to link it in the community post. I'll probably link it in the morning so that more people will see it. He did a Show Us Your Daws. That's just so much fun. I'm very inspired by some of the stuff he did, and also just a great video, period. Also very humorous and a bit of an earworm, right? If you've seen it, you know. Is there a Tanith Lee with a fable? There's him with a fable. I love how about cats and snakes. Hissing sun eyes. Oh, interesting. I don't know. I bet you there. It sounds wonderful, right? Yeah, it's unfortunate that we lost her. I feel sad because I discovered Tanith Lee so late, right? And she's already gone. It's very frustrating to me, right, when that happens. Not that I've ever met any. I don't think I've ever met any writer. Have I ever met any famous writer? No. Well, I've met people who write, but never somebody like that anybody would know, like a friend. Like, oh, my friend wrote a book. I'm like, I know my friend. I met him. Yeah, I went to school with him. Cornelius Chronicles. Oh, maybe referencing Moorcock. Cornelius Chronicles. What is Cornelius? Oh, Jerry Cornelius. I don't think I've read. I've got some of those. I don't think I've ever read them. Yeah, I see what you did there. I have one more. The Black Order, Xenophobia, and Societal Collapse. Interesting. I've not read very much of his non-fantasy. I think I have a deep love for Elric, but that I think is some of that love is nostalgia, and I understand that. I have no nostalgia, and can heartily and emphatically recommend the Corum books. Right, Corum is the last of the elves. Right, a lot of myth going on there. I really like the Corum books. There's also some D&D references in there, if that matters to anybody. Yeah. I could, well, no. Wait a minute. We did this. Chris, Richard, myself, and Daniel Otterjack Peterson. We already went down this path. We did a 7-hour. It wasn't a live stream. I think we took a small break to get. I like ate something. It was like take a 10-minute break, and I was like scarfing down like some, like I don't know, like a Nutri-Grain bar or something, and like guzzling something and using the bathroom and like back here. And it was at the end. I like it, at the end, Daniel was like he was like punch drunk, but like had no alcohol in him, right? I was like, I don't know, disassociating. Like I couldn't remember that I was online. It was super weird. It was a great experience. I I I've never went and watched that third video because I know I'm like I know it can't be good. Right? Where it was just, and that was the whole reason we were supposed to do the whole thing. That's fine. We should have like split it up, but anyway, we did it. Don't do it. Right? This isn't like if I was gaming or something, which I've thought about trying to do with someone's tries. We'll see. I don't know about that. Maybe because then you don't have to chat the whole time. But 8 hours, I wouldn't be able to speak for a week. Did you show us all the books you got, or do no? I think I showed you. Well, I showed you all those books. There's a lot more books, but it's too many. It's too much. You don't want to see all that. You don't want to see all that. You don't want to see it. I will show you one more book. Since we bring up a book, I'll show you. This is be the last one I show. Well, I'll show 2 more real quick, just because really quick, and then I'm going to keep like telling us. One of the other books that I got, which seems really neat, I'm just going to show it up, is this book called Lighthouse Horrors. It's just a cool horror stories about lighthouses. I don't know. It's got a Jack Vance, it's got a Ray Bradbury story, Robert Bloch, a Kipling story. Seems cool. There's that, and the other one that I was trying to remember what this book was. I was trying, and I'm like, I used to have a copy of this book, and I never read it, but let it go. And I really wanted to read it, and I found out what book it was and got it. And it's Bill Pronzi. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. Nothing But the Night. Right? Kind of a detective sort of suspense story. I remember reading about this book, and it seemed really good. I know I said the last name wrong, and I did that for you. But it looks really good. And I always wanted, I got rid of it because, you know, we all make bad choices. I made many of them. And I figured out what it was. Went this really long, circuitous quest, figured out the book and rebought it. Probably paid too much for it, for a hardback. I was talking about it Monday on my live show. What were we talking about Monday on my live show? Oh, the Cornelius Chronicles. Oh, okay. Yes. I think Chris has read that stuff, and it sounds very interesting. I just haven't read it. Oh yeah, don't do it. If you take anything away from this, don't do that. Don't do it. It doesn't work. It doesn't get better, right? It doesn't get better. You get like it's like it's like a peak in a valley, right? It goes all the way up and it comes down, and it never comes back up after it starts to go down. It just doesn't come back. Like Stephen King said, sometimes they come back, but it never comes back. Can we get a sneak peek of what were we getting a sneak peek of? I don't remember. What did I say? Dang it. Oh, of the pile. Of the pile. Well, shucks. It's a lot. I've already got like a lot. I don't know where I'd put them. Uh ooh. I'll save it for another. We'll do another one of these. We'll do it. There's a well, okay. Here. Well, no, that's not any fun. If I show you the back of the book, you're like, what does that mean? It's like, okay, I could have showed you anything. I could have been like, oh, sneak peek. You'd be like, you already showed those books. I'm like, yeah, I know. There's some stuff over here. I've got some stuff coming, some cool paperbacks. Um, it's all jumbled. Yeah, it's all jumbled. So, okay, but I feel bad because I don't like to say no. See, I can't. I have a hard time saying no. Okay, so here, there's some paperback books. I'll do it. I'll do this. Right. I'm going to talk a little bit about through these. There's more than that. All right. That's not. And I still have a bunch of library sale stuff too. It's a long way of me saying no and then doing it, and so that's weird. What should I find that lighthouse? One of my favorite things ever. Lighthouse keeper. Yeah. That, you know what? I can see where that it would be a really cool job for somebody who likes to read. Whenever I think of lighthouses, I think of that Doctor Who episode. There's a Doctor Who episode that takes place on a lighthouse. I have like a core memory of watching that episode. I don't remember anything about the episode, but I have a core memory of like watching it. Yeah, so this was not real expensive. Lighthouse. It's edited by Charles G. Wah, Waugh. Wah. Here, I'll hold that up so maybe it makes it easier to find. Or I can say I'll send you a picture of it if you want me to, if it makes it easier. I'm looking for something to paint in watercolor. Maybe a lighthouse thing. Very cool. I wish I could watercolor paint. I do paint miniatures, which I love doing. I've talked to Tim about this before from Secret Fire. Absolutely love painting miniatures, right? It's so rewarding. And I used to think you had to have talent to paint. You don't paint miniatures. Maybe you need to have talent to watercolor, which I think is fascinating. I love watercolor, but you don't. You just have to keep doing it. maybe that's the secret to all art. Is it's not that you have to have talent. Like I think talent is oversold. I think Harlan Ellison said something like this. Is that it's really just about continuing the process of doing it and just trying to get better. So that's awesome. I'd love to see some of your watercolor stuff. You should come on Monday live show in November. Yeah, sure. I'd love to in November. I think so. Mondays should be okay. What time are your live shows? Your live shows are probably in the evening. Okay. So, here's the issue. I have two kids who go to a local college, right? And neither of them have their license right now, which is totally fine because they're saving money by not having a license because they don't have to pay for insurance. I don't mind driving because I'm off. So I have to pick one up at in early afternoon, and then I have to pick one up late afternoon. So if I did the live show, I'd have to be joining you from my phone in the car. And it might be, and at some point I'd have to drive. So that might be weird. Maybe we can find a day when there's a holiday, though. When there's a holiday and they don't have class or something like that, or her late class is canceled or something. So yes, let's talk. I would love to come on there. I think you guys are great, right? I do a lot of watching and sometimes on the TV. And if I'm watching on the TV, it's like very difficult for me to comment. So I usually don't. But yeah, you guys are great. I actually legitimately love you guys, by the way. Love letter. See. You guys are awesome. Please, thank you. Never stop. Never stop. I'm sated. 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 There's a little play of words there. Are you sated? I just bought it. Your live streams are so expensive. As long as your lighthouse stint isn't anything like the Lighthouse movie. Oh, I've never seen it. Never. I had a friend who said it was amazing, and I just haven't seen it. But to each their own. I want to try it. We'll just have to see. Yes, and I think it's really a big mental hurdle that people have to get over with art. Is most artists sell themselves as being like, I'm all talent, and talent is really just another way of saying experience. just time in it. I do work where I have to do a lot of troubleshooting, right? And troubleshooting is like super difficult to teach. Like you can't teach troubleshooting from a book. You have to do in the same way you can't teach art of any variety. And when I say art, I mean anything like poetry or writing or painting or drawing or music. You can't really teach it. You have to do it. And that's talent, I guess. I think Curtis, who's the next comment, and I haven't read yet, would probably agree. Looks like the sound Charlie Brown makes when Lucy pulls a boy in, and it's Charlie. So very good. Love the Charlie Brown reference. Yes, I would love to be over there. By the way, do it all the time. Okay, okay. Yeah. So my time. Oh, so I may not get home my time until like 8 8:30 Central, which is awful late. But we'll talk about it. I think it'll be fine. We'll chat. We will chat for sure. I think if you have Chris can give you my information, or I can give Chris. We'll figure it out. There's ways. We have ways. And that's me. Look at this. Cool. It's excellent. Oh, okay. Okay, talking about the movie. Okay. Well, very cool. Boy, 3 hours, 20 minutes, 15 people. Everyone, I think I'm going to go ahead and call this. I think we're going to go ahead and call it. Honestly, thank you for listening to me. I feel like mumble and this rant for a long time. I know I don't even want to watch this ever because I went all over the place. But thank you so much for sticking around. You guys are fantastic. You guys are amazing. I really did. I thought like one person, I'd be like, I'd be cool with that. It'd be fine. It's like if nobody sees it, then you don't hear mess up. And then a bunch of people showed up, and I'm like, okay, now I have to actually do a good job. And I don't know if I did, but I did a job. Really enjoyed Nosferatu and the Northman, but it feels 40 minutes. Other than that, my house is on the list. On my list too. It can be taught. That's a good point. It can definitely be taught because I teach it. Don't get everybody to cancel. Thank you so much, Andre, for showing up. Thank you, everybody, for showing up, by the way. Yes. We're just getting warmed up. All right, Jake. We'll go over to your stream. If you want to start live stream right now, we can all jump over there, right? Oh, okay. Well, that's a good point. Yeah, and it could be, you know what? I've totally found that. I've found stuff people recommend before, and I thought, oh, I really wanted to, but it didn't work for me. That happens. Oh, wait. I haven't seen all those. Wait. Did I need to click this? No. Whew. Not sure if it's worth it either, but it's worth something. Thank you, everybody. We're going to close it up. That's all for now, and I'll do my signature. If we all want to say it together. Bye. Thank you again. And we do the double click, and then